What? Goat headroom.
Yeah,
Goat headroom.
right.
Wow, that was something.
Yeah, that wasn't even rehearsed.
You don't have to adjust your TV sets. That was just our crazy, wacky goat going insane for whatever reason. Yeah, yo, YouTube. Welcome back to another Wednesday Night Live. Me, Charlie, and the Stewmeister. What Vincent Van Goat. What's his other nickname? There's another one too, right?
Yeah. Vincent Van Gogh, Stu. There, you had another one for him, didn't
you?
I
know. I can't think of what it was now.
Oh man.
Yeah, so maybe somebody in the chat will catch us here. Welcome everybody to the live show. If you've joined us here before, you know what this is all about. Me and Charlie giving each other some smack, talking about stupid stuff, and hopefully providing some good experience, asking some questions, sharing some knowledge. I got to take these off because it drives me nuts when they reflect. And just kind of talking about what's going on in the world of selling low-end sports cards, buying, selling, all those good things. We got a lot coming up, busy time of the year. We've got a holiday tomorrow. We've got the Nationals in a couple weeks. We got all this stuff. So don't have any specific topics tonight. And I was trying to think of what I wanted to do tonight. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to do anything tonight. I think I'm just going to leave it open and we'll just kind of do a free-for-all. So you guys ask, you talk, pose questions to us. Oops, I locked my screen there. And give us comments, tell us, how stupid our hair looks, all those fun things. And, that's kind of how we'll run with it. Yeah, what hair? What hair? Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about, what's going on right now. We're coming into, the middle of summer, really, I guess is probably the best way to put it. And we'll start to see that heat up before fall. Like I said, the Nationals coming, that usually moves a lot of cards, gets a lot of buyers in the market. And so just one comment about the channel. I haven't put up any videos in like a week. I've just been pounding the pavement really hard. I have the scanner right now. And with non-sport being able to be scanned, I've had this death pile of some non-sport stuff that I just didn't feel like listing one by one. I started getting through, and I had a nice big stack of Gardner Minshew rookies today, so I want to make sure I get those on real quick. If you guys don't know me very well, Gardner Minshew's the man, so don't ever forget that. Stick with Gardner Minshew, and he'll never lead you astray. That's all I got to say about that.
Sure.
And then, yeah, just kind of trying to get as much football on as I can. Baseball's been moving really well, so I don't have that much baseball listed, but I have a ton to list. So I've just been doing that in big stacks. A lot of early 80s Leaf, not Donruss, Leaf, which I love that stuff, so I've been putting a lot of that on. Nice black borders, so the scanner hates them, but, getting through it, so.
Yeah.
I haven't done a monster box video. The other thing is I'm moving to the basement, so I don't want to do it all in one time because that sucks. So I've been taking a couple of boxes and a couple of things, and every time I go downstairs, I take a few things with me and drop it off. And
still
hopefully,
dragging that out.
Heck yeah, I'll probably be like another 2 weeks.
Man, get down there tomorrow.
Got it. Well, that's just it. Now we're running into a holiday, and I'll have some time. So, Friday I was gone. I was out of town all day. And then had friends over Friday night, so I couldn't do anything Friday. Saturday we had 3 girls over at this house that were staying over, so there's a lot of demand on that situation. So yeah, there's so much stuff coming up right now. I want to make sure I get that baseball in before we start getting to the All-Star break and that football up before that buzz really starts hitting.
I saw you did get a sales video out this week, though, right? Monday, I think. I
did a sales day. I think it was Sunday. I put that out late Sunday night. Yeah. That was my last video, which I would normally have 1 or 2 up.
Yeah.
But I didn't do a show. I didn't do any of that. So there was really nothing, that needed to really be made. But
you heard it here, folks. He did nothing.
Pretty much, yeah. Now with the channel, you're correct. And I can tell. I can see the numbers on the channel go. But priority number one is that eBay business and selling cards and so forth. This is a support instrument for that, and I always try to keep that in mind. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I haven't abandoned the channel. I haven't forgot about anybody. It's just right now, especially with the National coming up, I want to buy a lot at the National. So I got to get some of this stuff cleaned out and ready to go so that I can get to the next level. I'm at almost 45,000 listings. So, I've been I added quite a bit, and that's with huge sales. So someone in the chat looking ahead a little bit was asking about sales and volumes down and things like that. It's been the opposite for me. I have had really big numbers. So, at least volume wise, not necessarily high dollar card, a fewer high dollar cards, but just really consistent. I'm up 52% in sales from last month. So that's a pretty decent jump. Sorry, 50.3. I thought it was 52.3, but it's 50.3. So, some nice increases there, a bunch of green arrows on my traffic scores. And so I've just been trying to grab that lightning and trying to keep it going, especially like I said, when I have the scanner. So yeah, the plan this weekend is to get the rest of everything moved down to my office, and really start setting up there next week as my actual home place. My current office is going to be turned into like a home gym area. So, try to get some of that stuff set up.
Don't waste your time with that.
That's not for me. But I gotta get some holes patched up and do some painting and things like that. So there's some furniture that has to be brought up. So things like that we're gonna try to get done. And then my wife's moving her office, so she's actually coming in this room, and then the workout room will go in where her office is. I don't know why my screen keeps going black on me here. So anyway, that's kind of the plan. So it's a lot of process, especially going from a second floor to a basement. It's a lot of huffing.
Yeah.
And I got a pretty good amount of. Charlie's been here. There's a pretty good amount of stuff in here. So some of the furniture I'm getting rid of. I consolidated a lot of that merchandise stuff that I sell.
Every time you've been there, it looks like you're moving. Just boxes everywhere.
Yep. Well, that's what it is. You're moving from one box to another box, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I took a ton of like empty cardboard boxes and stuff out of here. Even I had a bunch of like 3-row card boxes. I took all those out, and I'm only using 5-row boxes. So
okay,
it's gonna be 5-row boxes of dime boxes and 5-row boxes of stuff to be listed. So I had plenty of 5-row boxes now. So I got rid of a bunch of those smaller ones, that tend to kind of float around in the room when they're not all together. And consolidated some stuff that way, and then moved some supplies and stuff like that. I wish I could just like stop and not work and then just do that, but that doesn't really pay too well either. So so I still had to use my eBay coupon today. If you haven't used it yet, make sure you guys use it. Used my eBay coupon and ordered my padded envelopes, which is good because I just used my last one out of one of the boxes. I still have like 3
you don't
boxes.
waste any time. Just dive right in and order something, huh?
Heck yeah. First day of the month, I order. Oh, yeah. When they give you a freebie, you take it. I don't
know what I could use the most yet.
You never know. They could cancel that coupon at any time. So you use that sucker once you have the code.
Yeah.
I went to UPS today and I ordered some labels, but I haven't done enough shipping with them to get another box of the fan folds.
Oh.
So I had to order a box of the rolls. So I got 920 some of the rolls. Labels, not 920 rolls. 920 label rolls. So I've got those coming. So yeah, unfortunately, I kind of had to order like some stuff. I'm almost out of number 10s, and it's going to be way sooner than because I have automatic reorder with Amazon on those. But I'm going to be out of those way before my automatic reorder goes. So I'm going to have to just go place an order.
Yeah,
I might just go order like 4 or 5 boxes and just have them so that if I go over what I think I'm going to use, I would have them, and then I can just wait till my next one auto fills, because you do get a little bit of a discount when it auto fills.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of my plan now. But I didn't want to order them until I was going to be downstairs because when I get them, I just want to bring them down there. You know,
right.
I don't want to
put them in their spot.
Right, exactly. So I'm trying not to bring things into here if I don't have to. But I had a couple boxes of toys in here that I was selling over Christmas time and things like that. So I have some stuff that just has to get out of here. And
you need something to play with all day.
Yeah, right. They're in the package, dude. You don't take them out of the package. Wise up. So that's kind of my plan. We've got a big 4th of July. I do the fireworks here for my, what's turning into my neighborhood now comes out to see. So
remember, anything that goes in the air and explodes is illegal.
It's fun, right? So and I live in the trees, so it's extra fun. But so we have some people coming over tomorrow night. We'll do some grilling, and then Friday night I have a gathering with some family and some friends, and then Saturday I've got the kids got a sleepover happening, and we might go to that circus thing on Sunday. That's over by the mall. So anyway, yeah, we're going to be busy. So I'm looking forward to actually just kind of taking a holiday day off tomorrow and getting some stuff done around here. It might actually not rain tomorrow, so I'm going to try to burn stuff.
I have to interrupt. I interrupt this chat for an important announcement.
Gardner Minshew?
I've just been notified that today is the 39th anniversary of a momentous pop culture event. Do you know what it is?
30th anniversary. So that would have been 39. So that would have been 1985.
Great Scott, man. You have to know this.
Yeah, it's Back to the Future. I figured that. What else would have been in 85? July 3rd. Oh, yeah, July 3rd. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Back to the Future. 39 years old today, man.
Yeah.
And you're still getting the shoes.
I did. I got the real ones, the self-lacing ones and everything. Yeah, that's intense.
So speaking of those, will they only be display forever, or would you take them out once in a while?
I take them out. I've put them on before. You have to be really, first of all, they're like a super high top. Like they go like halfway up your calf. It's like the tallest shoe ever. It's more like a boot. And you have to remember your tendency when you go to take a shoe off is to kind of like pull the tongue forward, right? To get your foot out. Yeah. You do not want to do that with a self-lacing shoe.
Yeah.
Because it's just the lace is just in a little motor inside the shoe. That's what makes it go up and down. So if you pull on it at all, it just pulls it right out of the motor, and then I've done it, and it's a pain in the butt to get it back in there. So, So I will never wear them out or anything like that. They're actually signed by Tinker. Do you know who Tinker is?
Sounds familiar, but I don't.
Tinker's the guy who invented the shoe.
Yeah, he's the shoe designer, right?
Correct. He was also the shoe designer for the original Air Jordans.
Yep.
So you saw that strange little man that designed the shoe in the movie? Did you see the Ben Affleck movie?
Yeah.
That guy signed him. The real guy, not the actor. Limited edition number.
Has it been authenticated?
Huh?
Has it been authenticated?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it came directly from Nike. It wasn't autographed later on. It's like an autographed pair. Like it's packaged, sold that way. That way with his sign, his signature, hand numbered and all that. It's kind of cool. It's got like a little glass display sign that goes in between the two shoes. So there's like a stand for the shoes. And when you take the shoes off, it has like the, just says what they are and limited edition. And then it's got Tinker's autograph and the numbering and stuff. So big Back to the Future fan. I love my Air Jordan. So that worked out well.
Yeah. I only got the notification. It wasn't really about Back to the Future at all. It was from my Guitar Tabs app, which said, celebrate 39 years of Back to the Future by playing Johnny Be Good tonight.
That's pretty awesome. I saw Michael J. Fox 2 nights ago played with Coldplay at a concert. Did you see that? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. He had, he wasn't like he was running around on stage or anything. He was sitting in a chair back by the back band. Chris the lead singer's name, I think?
Yes.
Anyway, so he kind of starts out the song, and then the lights sort of come up, and Michael J. Fox is sitting there. I can't remember what song they did now. But anyway, yeah, he played with them one other time in like 2000. He's a huge fan, I guess.
Okay.
Like 2015 or 2016. He did a whole set with them. This time, he just did one song this time.
Okay.
But I thought that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I'd see Coldplay with Marty McFly. Why not? That sounds amazing.
Heck yeah.
So it's a tribute band too. Back to the Future tribute band. What is it called? The Time Machines or something like that. They were pretty good. So there's a lot of stuff out there for Back to the Future. It never really goes away. So yeah, 39 years. I'm old as shit. So that's basically what that comes down to.
It's crazy to think almost 40 years ago that came out.
Yeah. Just made another sale. I don't know what I sold though, but I just saw my number go up. So
I'm guessing it was a card.
Yes, most likely. I have listed some things. Like that's the one thing with moving. Like I had some random stuff lying around, not even just in my office, but like downstairs in the space I'm moving into. And like I'll see if that sells for anything. I'm like, oh, it does okay. I'll list that. So
if I had to put money on a wager, I would wager that you sold either a football or basketball card of some player nobody's even thought of for at least 15 years.
All right. Do you want to know what it is? Should I tell you?
I do want to know what it is.
Should I share my screen, or should we not make it that dramatic?
You should share it. You should share it.
Okay,
Karnak the Magnificent. Everybody get your guesses in.
Oh, it's not that exciting. It's a Brett Favre card.
Oh.
It's a little predictable. It's a 1995 Score Summit Brett Favre Team Summit card, and I sold it for $7.99. So nice sale. I probably paid 17 to 25 cents for it. So
your sale was as unsurprising as my last sale, which was a Barry Sanders card.
Yeah, I mean, even like my last, let's see, I'll tell you what my last 5 sales were. So it's that Favre card, and then another Favre card, the Players Club one, where he's holding the helmet at his belly because they didn't have licensing, so he had to cover up all the logos. Then I sold 2 vintage Star Wars cards, one from the yellow series, one from the red series, which reminds me I got to buy a bunch of Star Wars cards. And then I sold an Upper Deck Derek Jeter card.
Of course.
And then I sold a hollow silver J.J. Watt.
Okay.
So, and then the coolest sale I had today was, before that was I sold a wild card 10-stripe Jalen Waddle rookie for $10.
Waddle.
Yep.
I did
and then
not
a bunch of vintage before that.
Did not have any oddball stuff today. It was pretty mainstream stuff. You know, like I said, Barry Sanders, Miguel Cabrera, Kevin Garnett. Just nothing too oddball.
Yeah, I don't sell a lot of those guys. When I do basketball, well, you know, we're not even going to talk about my niches because I'm tired of giving away all my ideas.
Yesterday was a good Star Wars day for me, though.
Then I find out this guy scrapes my sales and knows what I'm selling anyway. Like, I got backdoored by my own partner here.
Sold some Jude Bellingham yesterday too.
Yes. Oh my God! Did you see that goal? He's a monster.
I did not.
So England was playing. I'm going to get this wrong. It wasn't Panama because I think the USA played them, but it's one of those types of teams. Not really a world power in soccer type team. Okay. And England, of course, is. And they were down 1-0. It would have been like the biggest upset in English soccer history for many years. They were down. So for those who don't follow soccer, it's a 90-minute timed game. But if there's injuries or the game gets stopped for any reason, cards, whatever, it's called stoppage time. So there was 6 minutes of stoppage time being added on. So they were in the 94, like in a half minute, we'll just say. And ball comes in on a cross from England. England started really attacking the goal because, of course, no time to dilly-dally now. So England's attacking the goal. Ball comes in on a cross. Gets headed back by one of the English players who couldn't really make a good shot on goal from there. And Jude Bellingham turns, jumps up, and does the bicycle scissor kick over his head.
Okay.
Puts it in the net.
The Pele kick?
Pele didn't do that, but call a bicycle kick or a scissor kick. Some people call it a scissor because if you jump with the one foot first and then you bring the other foot across, you're kind of like scissoring, Anyway, so they scored basically with a minute, a little over a minute left in stoppage time, and then they won in the extra time. Harry Kane scored, so they ended up winning 2-1. But yeah, he's something else. But Team USA got bounced out last night. They were just terrible on the whole tournament. So I don't even want to talk about that. My man Weston McKennie, I thought he played pretty well. Pulisic had some moments, but just as a team, they're just not playing that well. No. So they're gonna have to do something because they're hosting the World Cup, and you better show up when you're the host team.
Yeah, people calling for the coach's head, so it's not good.
I don't know. To me, it's hard when you get to that level to blame it on the coach. Like, those players should know what they need to do. And I'm not saying coaching doesn't matter or coaching shouldn't be blamed. Like, it always should if you have struggles, but I don't know. I don't think just replacing the coach is going to like solve it, and now they're going to be in the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Like, that's not. There's more to be done there. There's more to be done there. Even if you kind of revamp the organization a bit, I think there's a lot of work. They have a great squad. I like a lot of the players on the team. I think they can be competitive at a world level. Will they beat teams like England and France and Portugal? No. Sorry, they won't. They will not beat Argentina. They will not beat England. England hasn't played the best that they've ever played either, but I would take England in a heartbeat over USA. Now, if they play Mexico, USA beats Mexico every single time. I don't know why. Even if Mexico's better, USA beats them. It's been like 7 in a row or something. But outside of that, they've had some struggles. And teams they lost to Panama. You can't lose to Panama. So there's
Panama would say different.
Yeah, well, I mean, you get a tough draw. Like, let's say they would have had to play in Argentina and they lose. I'd be like, okay, yeah, that was kind of a that's more than what they're going to be able to accomplish. But teams that you have to at least beat the teams you can beat, and they just haven't done that. So, but anyway, enough about soccer. I
think. Speaking of soccer, though, I browsing headlines today. I saw Messi's nursing an injury too, huh?
He's had that for a couple of weeks. He's got like a high groin pull. It's I don't know if you've ever had that injury. It's very common in soccer for obvious reasons. I've had it a few times, and it's a really annoying injury because you can still play, but you can't play. Like,
you feel fine, but then when you go to make like 100% burst.
Or you're doing a tackle, or you're taking a full shot, with a follow through or something like that, and it's really annoying, and it takes forever to get back to full health. Unless you take a bunch of time off, which he can't do right now because they have Copas, and then he's got to get back to Miami and try to finish out that season there in first place. So I think he took a game or two off with Miami before Copa started. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those naggy things, and he's getting a little bit older. So where you could heal from that a little quicker at 2021, it's a little tougher at 38, 39 when you're still playing, especially you don't really have time off.
I mean, I will tell you, at 49 last year, kicking field goals, I pulled my groin, and it took the entire football season to recover from it.
And there's kind of a difference here. Like there's your groin, and then there's like that. I don't know how to describe it. All I can say is it's like the high groin area.
Yeah.
It's almost like where the hip twists.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. I like I said, I've had that a couple of times, and really the best thing is to just take a couple of weeks and let it get back to square. But there's times when you just don't have that luxury. I tore ligaments in my foot 2 weeks before I was leaving for Europe to play. And I'm like, well, I'm going to play in here. I'm not going to Europe and not play. So it took 2 weeks. I was an active dude, and I took 2 weeks, and all I did was put my foot on a desk, and I didn't do nothing for 2 weeks. Just played on the computer and did crossword puzzles and gave it my all, and I was fine. I was able to play all while I was there. But
did you get those platelet-rich injections?
They didn't. A couple of Tylenol once in a while, maybe. Yeah, no, I'm not of that kind of importance. I would assume whatever Messi wants, Messi would get. You know, he's a little bit higher level than myself. But yeah, no, I don't get stuff like that. Unfortunately, I had to just kind of try to deal with it. Plus, the injury that I had, it wasn't in Europe; it was in America. So, America's not as free wielding with their drugs as other countries. We just had a 10-card order.
Nice.
Tony Gwynn, Greg Maddux, Barry Bonds, Kerry Wood, a Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
Another Derek Jeter, Barry Bonds, Greg Maddux, and a Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson and Pedro Martinez chrome insert. Yeah, and that's kind of how it's been going. I've been just getting hit. I had this over this weekend. I had sometimes it's hard to see how big an order is because you can only order 40 cards at a time.
Yeah.
So I had somebody place like 6 orders. So I'm like, well, that's 40 times 5, and then plus whatever the last order was. So it's 200. It was like 230 cards or somewhere around there. Pretty big one. I love it when I have to take like an actual white card box and fill it because there's that many cards that have been ordered. That's glorious. And it's helpful when you're grabbing, stacks out of other boxes to list to get those kind of quantities out. So
yeah. So you sold some baseball cards. The other thing going around is the All-Star rosters are pretty well finalized, except for the reserves. I think get named tomorrow. Some interesting names on that list. It'll be kind of fun to watch and see what some of those guys do in the card market, like an Alec Boehm, who, is making his first All-Star game and has not really lived up to his billing in the card market. It'll be interesting to see if he gets a little spike from that. Guys that Jurickson Profar, another great guy, first round draft pick, super hype prospect, pedigree, never really panned out. Now he's in an All-Star game. Will that give him a little bump in his card sales? It'll be interesting to see.
I bought into some Alec Boehm. I'll buy some of the big names each year. I don't buy like baseball product or even bulk for that matter, unless it's like my guys I just sold, Bonds and Clemens and Pedro and Maddux and the Hall of Famer guys.
Yeah.
But I did buy some Boehm, when he was a topic, and I don't think I've sold a single one. They just kind of sit there.
Yeah, he's a decent player.
I bought Rutschman, I bought Gunnar, I bought all those guys in the All-Star, Dominguez, but Boehm stuff, and I don't have them like priced super high or anything, very competitive. I don't even get offers on them, so yeah, it'd be nice if some of it moved.
Gunnar and Adley are both in too. I was trying to see if I can find the full roster. Starters name. So we know Judge is in. We know Harper is in.
Yeah,
they were the top vote getters in both of their leagues.
Ohtani must be in there.
Ohtani's in. Yeah. Wait, who are some of these other guys?
Buy the Star Spangled Mountain Dew. It's amazing.
Star Spangled Splash.
4th of July Mountain Dew. It's really good.
Here we go. I think I found it. Yeah. All right. So we talked about Harper and Judge, Adley Rutschman, Vlad Guerrero is going, Jose Altuve, Gunnar Henderson, Jose Ramirez. Will be in. Yordan Alvarez.
Okay.
Aaron Judge, of course. Juan Soto made it. Stephen Kwan of the Cleveland Guardians. So he was did he win the Rookie of the Year, or he was just in the running that year?
Don't ask me. I don't follow any of that stuff. I just look at hobby for baseball. I don't watch the sport.
Brewers catcher William Contreras.
Okay.
Ketel Marte.
We were just talking about him a couple weeks ago. Ketel.
Yeah, well, that was Noel V. Marte, I think we were talking about.
Yeah, Noel. Well, that's just it. What I had done is confused the two of them.
Yeah.
But
Noel got banned for the rest of the year for PEDs.
Oh, nice. I love it.
Trey Turner made it. Alec Boehm, Shohei, he's the DH. Christian Yelich of the Brewers made it. Jurickson Profar and Fernando Tatis. I would imagine some of the runners up are going to be put in there too, like a Manny Machado. Teoscar Hernandez will probably get named as a reserve. Your man Brandon Marsh had a good showing in the voting too.
Dude, Brandon, I'm telling you, Brandon, I had to send that to you when I sold that card. I'm like, I'm all on the Brandon Marsh train.
Mookie Betts will probably get named as a reserve. And then of course all the pitchers have to be named yet too. So yeah, I just did a liquidity list for baseball this week. It'll be 3 weeks again before I look at them, but it'll be interesting to see if some of those guys spike in the sales data.
I think it's one of those things where, and this happens with the NBA too, people don't really watch much baseball. They might watch like the opening week, so you have those spikes in those prices.
Yeah.
And they don't watch it all, and then the All-Star break comes, and there's really not much else for sports over this weekend.
Right.
And, if you want to sit outside and put the radio on or watch a game while you're eating your brats, you got
the
home run derby, which is fun, and there's like real players in it, unlike like the NFL Pro Bowl and stuff. Yeah. But that kind of happens with basketball too, right? And until there's that like interim tournament and then, the finals and stuff like that, people don't really watch it. So when I say people, I mean like a large population doesn't pay attention to it until those parts in the season. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if some of those guys get some juice. I basically just watched the kind of like your liquidity list. I like the liquidity list too. I do watch that, and then I also look at the daily top seller lists, and I just go off of that. If I feel like there's opportunities for some quick flips, you and I were getting really good deals before the baseball season. Like I was buying all those Jason Dominguez cards for like 50 cents, refractors and stuff. I'm like, I am not keeping these. I'm selling these today, but.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah. When you get that kind of a shot, you got to take advantage of it. So, yeah, I'm much rather buy the Barry Bonds and the Cal Ripkins and the Jeters and all that stuff because I saw that all day long. Why try to get something out of those guys when even when they're doing well, they might not have a hobby.
Right. So, right.
You know who else sells pretty well, which I was surprised at, but I've been selling more and more of it, is Juan Gonzalez.
Juan Gone?
Yeah, Juan Gone.
40-some homers in 1994 in that Top Stadium Club set I was looking through the other day.
Yeah, well, he took more drugs than anybody else, so, that's part of it. But
everybody was.
They were. Including the pitcher that probably threw him the ball. But yeah, I was surprised. Like I had some inserts of his. Sammy Sosa doesn't sell too bad either. I just kind of stumbled on some real cheap in different deals that I bought, and it's like, okay, these guys, if I can get the stuff cheap, I can throw them out there and I'll get some sales on them. So
yeah.
So I'm really building up the baseball side for sure, and I got a lot of baseball. I shouldn't say a lot. I have a good chunk of baseball vintage finally too. So.
When I was checking to see if that was a complete set I had on that 94 Stadium Club, I had a call back to this very show in a conversation we had when I came across 6 copies of Will Clark in that set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Will Clark too. I don't have a ton of it. It doesn't come up that often for me, but yeah, it's definitely something that I think more about it when I see it, flipping through a box on a good price. So yeah, I love it when I can expand because if you're digging through a box and there's only 2 players you're going to buy, it's pretty rough.
Yep.
If you're like, oh, I'd buy this, Juan Gonzalez is 2 cents, I'll buy that, so it's kind of fun to be able to build it out a little bit. And you guys will realize this too. If you're newer and you're just starting to list, you probably want to list, your bigger stuff, your hotter stuff. But to try to get to 60,000 listings, you got to spread out a bit. You can't just list, all their cheater cards, despite the fact that he's the best Yankee ever. That'll get you a lot of sales. They'll move, but you're still at a little bit more of a limited buying pool because some people are foolish enough to think he's not the best Yankee of all time. So you might have a buyer in that person. So spend some time, look at how you can spread yourself out a little bit. There's the obvious ones, you buy Brady's, you buy Mahomes, you buy Ripkins, of course, any of those players, you buy them, and then kind of build out from there, depending on what your market is. I still sell way more Favre cards than I sell anything else.
Yeah.
Despite how much I've built out now, I just have such a huge Favre inventory, and I have so many regular buyers that just come back, and I can see them building their collections. Like they'll one time they'll buy 10 cards, and they're all 1995 cards, and then the next time they'll come in and they'll buy 10 1996 cards. So you wouldn't be doing that unless you were trying to meet some kind of goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you understand your customers and then see if you can get some new ones by stretching out a little bit.
Yeah.
And adding something else.
So here's a tip for everybody when you're getting stuff from a private collection, and that Stadium Club set, that wasn't a purchase for me. I have nothing into that. That was some family said, hey, see what you can do with this, but I find it's true when I have friends and stuff that have some of these, 90s and 80s sets for sale too. Going through that, trying to see if I've got a complete set there. And there's certain guys I'm looking for, like Ricky Henderson, Barry Bonds, Cal Ripken. I'm like, okay, if I can find these guys, I can probably do something with some of these cards.
Yeah.
But I knew didn't take me long to realize, okay, I don't have a complete set. So then the wheels start turning and you're like, what's missing, right? So I always find it interesting that you can get a box of 600-700 cards from somebody, and how weird is it? Not a single Ken Griffey Jr. card in there.
Right. Yeah, you know what they pulled out. Yeah, Griffey stuff. That's an obvious one to sell. Yeah, it's So, have you been to the Green Bay card shop lately? The
Mike's Place? No.
No, the other one.
Oh, GBC? Green Bay?
Yeah, Green Bay City Cards.
Have not, yeah.
So I went in there because I needed my inventory baggies.
Mm-hmm.
I was over that way. They have a little bit cheaper price. I just popped in there. They have a 1988 Topps baseball vending box for $5. You know what the vending boxes are?
No, explain that.
So a vending box was a box that didn't have sealed packs in it. It just had cards in a box.
Okay.
Because what you would do is you'd put them in vending machines, right? Remember those little card machines where you'd put like 2 quarters in and you'd pull the little slot and the card would come out?
Vaguely. I think I do remember seeing those once in a while.
Now you'll see them a lot now for like Pokemon cards. A lot of stores will have them for that.
Okay.
So anyway, that was the idea behind it. But I was like, I'm like 88 Topps. That's obviously one of the like most overprinted years. But think about the players that were playing then. And I actually just sold an 88 Topps McGuire card today.
Yeah.
For $1.99. If I get one McGuire card and sell it out of there, I get 20% of my money back on the box.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At $1.99. Because you figure $1 after fees, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I'm like, that could be fun, just to see what's in it. I haven't bought a box of 80s baseball cards in 35 years,
Mm-hmm.
And there's worse things I could do with $5. So
yeah.
I'm thinking of popping back in there. I didn't really have time. I sort of had to grab stuff and go, but I'm hoping. I didn't want to do anything this week because Green Bay has its card show this week. And, and they all have flyers and stuff to give out, so I didn't want to kind of encroach on that. Yeah. But after that show this weekend, I'm going to run to the card shops and drop off some flyers.
Okay.
So I'm thinking like, when I go do that, I think I might pick up a couple of $5 boxes to have. Not that I need them, or not that there's going to be anything super stellar in there, but yeah, I mean, you got McGuire, you got Ripken, you got Will Clark, you got Bonds, I mean, that 88's a decent year as far as like, and then you still had Robin Yount and Paul
Yep.
Molitor, like some of those older guys, were
George
still
Brett.
there. And George Brett. Trying to think if I think there was like some Hank Aaron cards in there, like celebrating home runs, and like there's some decent little subsidy cards, and I'm like, that'd be a decent buy for $5. And I think you get like 600 cards in the box. You get a ton of cards in the box. It's a big rack box looking thing. But I'm like, $5. Jeez, that's a heck of a deal.
Was it 88 Tops or was it a different brand?
88 Tops.
88 Tops. So just thinking about like the Hall of Famers in there: Eddie Murray, Phil Niekro, Nolan Ryan, Ryan Sandberg, Sparky Anderson, Harold Baines, Ricky Henderson, Eck, Tom Lasorda, Barry Larkin, Kirby Puckett, Bruce Sutter, like you said, Robin Yount, Goose Gossage, Wade Boggs, Lee Smith, Burt Blyleven, Alan Trammell, Jack Morris. I mean, the list is about 100 players long. Ted Simmons, Tim Raines, Jim Rice, Bob Gibson, Stan Musial. I mean, there's Cal Ripken, of course, Don Sutton, Gary Carter, Dave Winfield, the Hawk, Andre Dawson, Eddie Murray, like Fred McGriff, Ozzie Smith. It just keeps going.
And they're pretty cheap on eBay too. You can get a box for about $10 plus shipping, so you're about $20 after ship. But it's local. It's $5. The other thing is these boxes weren't sealed. They were just, it was a case of unsealed boxes because, again, the goal was you just pull them out, you take the loose cards and throw them in the machine. Yeah. They're meant to be sold as. So I don't know that that's something you'd really want to buy online because they could have been searched pretty easily. I think they have like a little tape around the side or something like that, but they're not sealed. Yeah. There's no plastic around them or anything. But it's from a case because you can see he's got the case there and it's all the boxes from the case. And I don't think he would search them. I don't see what they would gain by doing that at that little shop. So so I feel pretty confident buying there that there'd at least be some cards in there that I would like. I just don't have that. That's still vintage baseball, and I don't have much vintage baseball, so I think it would be a fun little pickup. It's 500 cards, by the way, per box.
I wouldn't call it vintage, but that's a subjective term.
Okay, so let's go with not vintage. Let's go with what's the other term people like to throw around for something that's older?
Early modern or something like that.
No. Not vintage. Anyway, I think it would be. I think it could be fun for $5.
I've actually got to make a stop at one of our local stores because I need some 5-row boxes now, and I'm pretty sure they're both going to be closed tomorrow. So I'll probably stop in on my lunch Friday at Packer City and see what he's got there. I also haven't been in there in a while, so I'm curious if he's got a dollar box back out.
He does. I talked to him about it last time, and I didn't have time to search then either. Basically, what he did was he took a bunch of the cards that he had in the singles boxes out by the register.
Okay.
And he just put them in like a 50-cent box off to the side.
Okay.
So if you've dug through those, you kind of know what he has, and then just think of whatever it was, half price.
Yeah. So really, no new inventory in there.
Not from what he said to me. No.
Okay.
Oh, the other thing that I had a couple of sales on Jeff Bagwell too.
Oh yeah, I get some killer sales every once in a while.
Yeah, Biggio's always sold okay for me, but I've bought Bagwell here and there because I've gotten some really stuff in really cheap lots or whatever. I haven't really had any sales. So.
Berkman,
Lance Berkman. So yeah, that was kind of nice. I'm like, ooh, Bagwell stuff because I have a bunch of minor league Bagwell stuff. That I got in those monster boxes, and I like listing the minor league stuff. It's not as common.
Sure.
Not as common. It's kind of that XRC thing, right? Rookies before they're rookies, and
So I guess one last headline to touch on, and that's in the basketball world, is LeBron close to re-signing with the Lakers, so him and Bronny can play together, and kind of get that Griffey senior and junior magic, but in basketball.
I mean, literally the only reason the Lakers drafted him was so that LeBron would stay. So.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, let's be real. So that'll happen. I wonder how long he's really going to play, because even though he's been fairly healthy his whole career, and he's kind of a special physical specimen, I guess is a good way to put it. That still has to break down he's big and all that. That's got to break you down after a while.
And he's 40 something now, right?
Yeah, he's only a couple years younger than us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, he's 42 or 43, I'm guessing, somewhere in there.
43.
I can look it up quick.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing too. LeBron King James.
39. He's 39.
No way. I thought he was 40.
Well, that kind of makes sense, because his rookie season was 2003.
Yeah, I guess.
And he was 18. He was only 18 when he entered the league.
Yeah.
18, 19, something like that.
Yeah, he's the old man in the league now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can remember watching him play in high school. That's
me
crazy.
too. Yeah.
You know, and luckily, enough, I had some foresight, because nobody cared about cards at that time. But his rookie cards were coming out, and I went to Walmart and I was getting packs of 2003, 2004 Topps for $1.79.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what does a pack of 03, 04 Topps basketball cost you now? Like $50
Not
or something?
$1.79.
Not $1.79. But remember, it was Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and there was a good draft year. Carmelo Anthony, you know, all those guys were all the same year. And so yeah, I had bought, I don't know, probably a good couple handfuls of packs over the time. You know, I just throw 3 or 4 in, you know, in the cart each time we would stop there, and I got 3, 4 LeBrons. I still have them. I kept all the ones I busted out of packs, LeBron rookies, which is pretty cool. And then Bazooka, I got one of his Bazooka rookies too. I love those Bazooka sets. They were so amazing.
Yeah.
I got a gold Dwayne Wade Bazooka rookie out of there too. So that was pretty cool.
Very nice.
But yeah, now you can't even find a pack of basketball cards, you know, to buy. Well, even the stores don't even sell packs anymore. It's just boxes.
Right.
You can't go in with, you know, you can't really go in anywhere with $2 and buy a pack. Like, that's not really a thing.
Well, you can't even get a blaster for $17.99, let alone, you know, your $1.79 price point for your packs.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about that. It's kind of scammy by Topps, in my opinion, right now, because, well, I just sold a Talon soccer mascot for some soccer team.
Nice.
It's some bird thing.
Anyway, some bird thing.
The Sports Illustrated for kids card.
I saw the Texas Rangers mascot yesterday, the Moose.
Nice. I forgot what I was saying.
That the prices with Topps, the blaster.
So they do this buyback thing, right, through Topps Chrome for the MVPs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now it's kind of, I see it as kind of scammy, because what did they do? They jacked the price to $40. There's $45 or something for a blaster.
Yeah.
This year, and I'm like, dude, you're just, now because you created this extra lottery ticket, you're going to charge that much more for the boxes. And I don't know. I hate stuff like that. And Topps has done better than like Panini and stuff as far as their pricing, in my opinion. Prices of stuff have to go up. I think everybody is okay with that to some degree.
Inflation.
Yeah, well, just inflation and just, you know, things over time, the cost just goes up. Just keep it that simple. But it's like, dude, you were $30 last year and you got to be $40 this year. Come on, that's not 25%. Now you're just trying to rake it, is what you're trying to do. And maybe part of that's because Fanatics has their hand in it now too. I don't know, but I don't know. I will not pay $40 for a blaster. I don't care what's in it.
I won't either. At least not this year. Maybe in a couple of years, the rest of the economy will catch up, and I'll be like, yeah, I guess $40 for.
Pretty much, my box buying is going to be limited to the National every year, because you get some extra packs, and it's just part of the experience. And you'll generally get the lowest price you can get by going to a Dave and Adams or a DA Card World or something to that effect. So I'll get my couple of boxes that I really want. at the show. I'll get something from Wild Card, and that's pretty much gonna be my box buys for the year because stuff's just too expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I was already not crazy about it when blasters were 25. To be up to 40 now, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
And it's Topps Chrome. It's not like, you're not guaranteed an auto. You're not guaranteed memorabilia. You're not, and even if you get memorabilia, it's like, off of a clothing rack at Kohl's. It's not a jersey a player wore, so who cares? Like, there's just nothing. And that's where I think, like, they threw out that little, buyback for the MVP thing. And I'm like, dude, is that like, were you just setting that up to be able to jack the price on this stuff and somehow say it's warranted? I don't know. It's not, you don't even get money. Like, you take that card in and it's credit.
Yeah, I had a couple of those last year. I actually bought that Game of Thrones box with the credit I got from the Acuna cards I took in. Yeah,
it turned out to be a pretty good move, I guess.
Yeah,
There's no Acuna's winning it this year, that's for sure.
No. Well, we should probably get into some chat. Hey, we're 15 minutes in.
We're a little bit behind. Not terrible, but a little bit.
We talked longer in the open today with no topics than we do when we do have topics.
Well, and that's why I said, that's why I didn't want to have anything today. It's like, it's a holiday weekend. Let's just have a chill factor and just whatever happens, happens. All right. So let's see.
It's a holiday tomorrow because Mrs. JC3 was kind enough to bring me a strawberry mojito here.
Ooh, that sounds good.
I know. Fresh mint from the yard.
I just have fireworks Mountain Dew. That's as far as I go for tonight. I'll have my drinks tomorrow before I light fireworks. Like every good American.
And then next week on this show, you'll be like, Charlie, can you work the controls? Because
I'll be like, this is all I have left. This is all I got left. Permanent rocking. Permanent rocking.
Stubby.
Yeah. Hopefully not. I'm pretty well behaved, actually. So. Dan he says, "What up, fellas? It's the month of the Nationals. Can't wait for my mind to be blown away." Yeah, it's happening. Whoa. It's going to be fast. We've been in our little chat group. We've been trying to finalize some logistics plans and kind of make our way through there. So for those of you who are going, I got a couple of tips, and maybe I'll throw a video out there again, like how to survive a national. But I'll give you a couple of them right now. Comfortable shoes every single day. Shorts that don't fall off. I had that problem one year. Loose fitting shorts because I wear a backpack and it pulls your pants down.
Dude, all you need is a belt. A piece of string.
No, belts don't do it. I don't have that kind of shape. My shape just goes straight down. So if they're too big, you can strap whatever you want on it. It's going down. Anyway, so that, and then hydration. So I take I always have a water bottle in my bag, and then I also use the hydration packets. Those do a world of good if you're going to be digging all day. Help you get through the day. And then a backpack or something to carry cards in, especially if you're going to buy any kind of bulk. You don't want to just be carrying boxes around. I've seen people do this before where it's like they got a little brown bag of cards from a dealer, right? And they go to the next table and they set it down to look through this, and they walk away, and then they come back because they left their bag there. And you don't want to be that guy.
Please do not wear sandals. Nobody wants to see your gross feet.
No sandals, never sandals. And then that's not good for walking around like that anyway. And then there is stuff outside the show. So try to participate in things outside the show. Look for trade nights, do some hotel lobby trading, if you can get to any of that. Go to some of the dinners. I know Panini has a dinner. I know PSA does a dinner if you're on the PSA registry stuff, VIP stuff, that kind of thing. So try to get some after hours activities in as well. It's a great experience for all those types of things. And make sure you don't buy the first thing you see, because you'll only have so much money and there's a ton of dealers. So if it's something you don't think you'll see at all at the show anywhere else and you feel like it's a fair price, buy it, because you're never going to get back there or it'll probably be gone. So that would be the one exception. But if it's a card, if it's 1988 Topps vending boxes, you could probably look around for a little while and find a decent deal on it at another table. So,
what do you think the odds are that I come home empty-handed, that I buy nothing?
No, impossible.
How's that impossible? I got so much backstock right now.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Because there's going to be stuff there that you don't have backstock.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess we'll find out, but like it feels good not going to the National and feeling like I have to buy inventory. I need inventory. I'm sitting pretty fat right now, so it's purely like freedom at the National.
Well, let me tell you this. So last year I bought basically 2 monster boxes. I basically bought a little over 10,000 cards or so last year.
Yeah.
Shouldn't say bought. Some cards I got for free, which even better deal. And they came home and I had other stuff to list. And I was going to a lot of shows because you were starting out. So we were going to a show every couple of weeks. And I was picking stuff up. I was still buying a lot of stuff on eBay and flipping it. So those boxes sat on my floor. And then every once in a while, I'd grab a stack here, grab a stack there, and I get those done. And those are pretty much all done. I think I have a few cards left. But I just consolidated into another box that I need to list. But it's just great to have that sitting there for if you can't get to shows or it's the middle of winter and the weather sucks and you just don't want to go anywhere, or hey, you got a couple hours at night, or hey, you're going up north, take a little box with you. It's just nice to have that at your disposal. And honestly, I got some really, really good deals on some stuff that I don't see anywhere else.
Okay.
All right. And to me, that's the clincher. And I'm not going to say this live on this show, but I think you know what types of cards I'm referring to, and what I'd be looking for. And that's a place, if you know what you're doing there, that's a place you can get that kind of stuff. So that's where my eyes will be peeled. I completely agree with you from the aspect of it's nice to know I don't have to buy. I can be picky. I don't have to pay up on cards because I need cards. I can literally buy the stuff that I don't have, that I need to stock my inventory with, and I can buy the stuff that I know is a really good deal.
Yeah. I still feel like being my first National, I want to embrace the experience a lot because it very well.
Well, the big part of that is buying stuff, though.
Yeah. It might be my only National. It might be maybe I only go every few years. Like, there's no guarantee I would go back. I'm sure I probably will, but there's no guarantee to that, right? So I want to do things that I can't do at other card shows and stuff like that. And we were talking just before the show. We're pretty blessed in this area to have card shows regularly. I know a lot of our own. Yeah, a lot of our viewers don't have that opportunity. So just going to a card show in and of itself is not really a big draw to me. I'm excited to see the scale, to maybe see and talk with a lot of other influencers and content creators and collectors, and get different perspectives.
Did you just call yourself an influencer? I think you did.
I don't think I did.
Wow.
I don't think I did. I said influencers and other content creators. I think
is that a good influencer or a bad influencer?
Well, both will be there.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good part of it. There's, and even people in our chat and in our Discord and stuff, it'll be fun to see some people face to face. That's probably one of the only spots we'd ever really be able to do that. And we kind of talked about this in the last couple shows, and we'll talk about it more because as it gets closer, that the National is going to be a bigger topic. But I think you have to lay out your weekend to where you can have all those experiences. So Wednesday, that's not the day to do that. That's the day to go in and get the early jump, and there's not as many people in there, and you can buy stuff and you get first crack at cards. Just like going early to a show, you don't hang out at the 8 o'clock hour at a show. You buy your stuff. And then at noon you can be done and go have lunch and, do all that, talk about your wins and that's a great day. that's what you have to use Wednesday for. If you want to get any inventory, that's going to be your best opportunity.
Right.
And then Thursday and Friday, it's not as busy because it's not the weekend yet. So that's a good time to sort of walk around and see some of the displays and the exhibits. And if you're going to buy any of the boxes for silver packs, that's when you want to do it so the lines aren't as long. And, see, I think the key, and I've been to quite a few of these, so, it's a little different for me than it is for you, but the key is to just sort of have a layout of what you want to do and make that appropriate for the day that you want to do it at.
Okay.
And you'll be less frustrated. You most certainly could go to this show for 5 days and not buy anything, but I'm not quite sure what the point of that would be. But I'm sure people have done that. It's a pretty long trip, and it costs money to be there. I would imagine you'd want to do something for your business while you're there.
Yeah.
But soccer products, I mean, I bought Revolution Asia boxes there, soccer boxes. I'm not going to find that anywhere here at a good price. And I got silver packs for it from Panini.
Okay.
So I got, bonuses for buying them. And I've sold a ton of those. I just had a decent sale this week of Manchester City cards out of that. Really nice inserts, got a couple of good autos. I had a 1 out of 5 or an out of 5 card, serial number to 5 card. The wild card will be there, and they'll always have like really cool deals on some of their combo boxes, and you get extra stuff. And we got T-shirts and hats and all kinds of cool packs. And they had a total Brock Purdy pack last year, so all the cards in it were Brock Purdy, but it was from different sets. And it's just opportunities to get stuff that you can't get. Garbage Pail Kids has they usually have some really cool stuff you can do. They had the fortune teller last year. That spit out a card, and so even if you just do some of that, you're still buying stuff, but it's stuff that you're not going to get at a show on a Saturday in Green Bay.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that's the main thing to focus on. And then, like, do you need to buy a bunch of base Randy Moss cards? Probably not. But if you can find some. I was buying base 1967 King Kong cards for 2 cents. Like, dude, give me if you had a stack of 1,000 of those, I'd buy all 1,000 of them. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're gonna come away with, you're gonna get stuff.
Yeah.
Especially now with the non-sport, you just run the damn thing through the scanner. There's no real second thought to doing that. And I don't care who you are. If you start with sports cards and you're adding non-sport cards, there's probably lots of them you still need.
Yeah.
To try to stock and build out. So, but yeah, I mean, hockey. I would love to pick up some hockey, soccer. Like, if I found a stack of Messi base cards at $1 a piece, yeah, I'm buying.
Mm-hmm.
I found stacks of like Mickey Mantle cards for $0.25. Modern cards, but of Mickey Mantle, and I sell those all day long. And I don't find quarter Mickey Mantle cards in Green Bay, so I bought a big stack of that stuff. So got to look a little bit, but you'll come up with some stuff that you'll want to get. We'll be in that show for 10 minutes. I'll turn around. You'll be making a deal with a dealer. I'll be like, yep. So, he popped his cherry pretty quick there.
So I think what I'm hearing is also from a strategy wise, when I walk in the door, it makes no sense for me to buy 300 cards from the first table I see that are all the same cards I get here in Green Bay. But if I see a great
unless they're really, really cheap.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. If it's a stack of Randy Moss base cards, but you can get them for 2 cents, yes, you buy those.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
But if it's some sets and some players that I never see in the value boxes around here that I can get at a great price, that's what I want to stock up on when I'm there.
That's my strategy. So, you do what you want, but that's where I last year I got so many good winners, out of tables, and it's a lot of dealers that are at a national level, so you can come up with good bulk buys with them, and
a lot of breakers looking to offload their non-big cards.
Yep. And you'd think, it's going to be all base cards. That's not true. I bought a lot of like Neymar silvers for like 30 cents, soccer cards. Like, dude, I don't find Neymar refractors in boxes at card shows here.
Right.
So that's kind of that's sort of my play on it. Now, like I said, if I find a stack of mantles, yeah, I do find mantles around here, but not at a quarter a card. So I buy them. Anything that's weird and stuff like that, you know what you're doing. So, and I'm talking about that as far as the business buying. And then there's lots of cards you might just want for yourself or boxes you want to open. And it's fun to we got 3 guys staying at that hotel. It's fun to grab a couple boxes that are just fun and go back and crack them and
rip them
and
rip it and flip it.
Rip it, flip it, keep some. The national exclusive packs are fun. You want to participate in some of that stuff. And so it'll be really interesting to see what Topps has out this year. Remember, they're going to have a football product.
Yeah.
When we go there. So, that's something that would probably be something. And even if I'm not going to buy boxes of that or find boxes of that, I guarantee you dealers will have singles of them already.
Right.
In their boxes. So, I mean, I can get a brand new Topps Favre card from this year. Hell yeah, I'm buying that. Because, they're going to put legends in it and stuff like that. As a selling point. So, and the inserts. And so I'm actually more excited about this year than I have been in a few years because I feel like there's changes. There's things that are happening. So, I don't know. I don't know if you're into cards or you like. I mean, have you ever gone to a show and not bought anything?
No.
and this is the national, dude. It's not like if there isn't 5 tables here. There's 500 or 1,000 or whatever the hell it is. And then there's vendors too that, hey, you buy this, they'll throw this in. And, I went to Derek Jeter's booth and I bought, I had to throw beanbags or something like that. And then I won a free pack of Topps cards. I busted open and I got a Jordan Alvarez game used back card in it.
Yeah.
So they graded it for me for free. And, I went to the website and I could see it on there and stuff. And you can present Derek Jeter with trades. And I know that's Arena, by the way, if you guys aren't familiar with that, Arena grading.
We're all shocked that you went to Derek Jeter's table.
He was there like 10 minutes before we got there, and then he left. I'm like, son of a... So, there's just cool stuff like that. And there's celebrities that walk around, a little bit. There's some bigger sports names. Ronaldinho just sat at a table across from us, and he's a soccer legend. Signed autographs for a little while. I think one of his friends or something was running a booth there. eBay will be there, so you can go talk to those guys. Golden Auctions, PSA, the Breakers Pavilion is something you might want to just go buy into a break and do it live. That'd be fun,
right?
And just see what you pull out of a break, but you get the cards instantly. Some of the breaker tables are cool because they'll take like their base cards and they'll just throw them out on the table, and they'll leave them there, so you can just go grab whatever you want. So there's just if you can think about it with cards, it's going to be there. Now this isn't quite to the scale of Chicago, but I would venture to guess they do it up pretty good. So
it's going to be good because I hear Cleveland rocks.
Sure, especially when we're in town with the Stewmeister. I'm more worried about what am I going to eat. That's the bigger challenge. Like, what do we eat in Cleveland? We need to know these things. So, Dan, that's on you. You're our host. You're our host, so you got to drag us around that city and make us do stuff and take us to places. Isn't there a Hall of Fame
insider's guide to Cleveland?
Isn't there a Hall of Fame in Cleveland?
There is, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
So, I mean, we might want to pop to that. That could be fun.
And the Christmas Story House we talked about.
Maybe they sell Hall of Fame cards.
I want to go to the Christmas Story House and get my own major award.
There you go. That's something. It's going to be in summer, so it might not look the same, but
it'll feel the same.
Yeah, I know it's been restored. Somebody finally turned it into a museum.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, lots more to come on the national. If you guys aren't going or you're tired of hearing about it, sorry, but it's soon, and a lot of us do care and are going to be there. So definitely something we have to cover on this channel. All right, let's move on. Troy, crunk. I hit the wrong button. Troy is here. What's up, my Wednesday night card crew?
What's up?
Joe's here. Good evening, boys, and of course the Stewmeister.
I think that's one too many Z's.
That was a lot of Z's. It put a lot of pressure on my tongue. I had to really work for that one. Art Green, finally catching this live. No more hockey on Wednesday nights for a couple of months. Good evening, all. Awesome. Glad to have you with us. Enjoy. Be sure to participate in the chat. About 3 hours after you post, we'll get to it. That's generally how it works around here. Lofi Joe is here. Evening, all. Hello. How's everyone's sales been? My volume has been down, but selling higher price cards to make my numbers look great. Last month, my year-over-year was 200% up, which I am happy with. Yeah, I would say that that's solid growth as long as you can scale to it, and handle that growth. That's great. I would say I'm a tad bit the opposite right now. I bought so much bulk of lower end stuff that I've just been selling more volume, but they're less dollar cards, a lot of them. So my dollars are up, but it's not because of the average price of the card. Because my volume's up too. So as long as this is the way I look at it. It doesn't matter what cards you sell. It's how much money you made. Did you make any money? Are you making more money than you were before? That's what really matters. Even if you have to work more, if you have bigger cards and you got to work more to try to find a buyer, but you're making more money, then it's worth it, right? So yeah, keep fighting that fight and keep getting growth, and you can always add some lower end cards next month, and maybe that'll increase some of your sales too. But yeah. Olympic cards posting time. Ooh, I don't really have much to list right now. I did list a Bruce Jenner card today.
Okay.
So that was kind of interesting. I didn't know if I should put Caitlyn in the title as like a side play, so I just left it as Bruce because he was not Caitlyn at that time. But she was not Caitlyn at that time.
Because I put Bruce Jenner. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what I just left it as what the title was. It was an Americana card, and it wouldn't come up on Card Dealer Pro, so I had to type it in. Which is annoying.
You're getting spoiled.
By the way, the Ushi cards are not in there either, so you got to enter all those. Yeah.
Did you sell any more of those yet?
I sold a couple more. I sold a foil Aquaman. I sold a couple of the cardstock Batmans, a Batman foil, and then one of the Black Adam golds.
Okay, cool.
So not a ton, but they'll go. They'll keep moving as they sell. Hey everybody, happy 4th of July Eve. Happy 4th of July to you as well. At least for today, mine had Lions Fan 9, by the way. At least for today, mine has gone up drastically. I'm wondering if it has anything to do with 4th of July, but at the same time, I recently increased my listing volume from 5 to 25.
That'll do it.
Yeah, of course. If you increase what's available, you're more likely to get more sales. I do think holidays help. 4th of July tends to be like a chill, relaxed holiday, and I think people, they go to the pool and they pull their phone out and they're putzing around, they're shopping for cards, and so I think you might see some gain from some of that. But yeah, we'll see. If you have cards that people want to buy, you'll make sales. Pretty much that simple. Don't own a scanner. That's about my limit right now, which is fine. Most of us started that way. From Office Space. I did nothing. I did absolutely nothing, and it was all I thought it could be. Peter from Office Space. Yeah.
Look, Bob, it's a problem of motivation. I can work my ass off, and Initech can sell 1,000 more, and I won't get another dime.
But it's true. It's true. You need more pieces of flair. That's what it comes down to.
That's right.
And same with me. I have sold more today as well. I had a pretty, Charlie and I were talking about this before the show. I had a really good day today too. Actually, this week has been the best week in a couple of months. So, yeah, I think we're kind of starting to build up to the better sales season. I feel like maybe overall economically things are starting to level off a lot more. I feel like interest rates have stopped moving up, and you know people have gotten used to the price of some of the things that now that they've flattened a little bit, and um, have some confidence to go back in and say, yeah, I can buy some cards again. And
Yeah.
with what we sell, it's the perfect thing for a more financially challenging time, because $10,000 Otani cards might be a little tougher move, but $2 Otani cards will sell all day long. So um, we got to take advantage of this while we're in that good spot. Sales are solid for me, though I definitely need to hit up a couple of card shows this month and pick up my sourcing on eBay to keep the momentum up. Quite a few people in our group, as well as this chat, have started buying more on Whatnot too, so you might want to take a look at that. There's sport card lots. There's buysportscards.com, which we've been listing on. I've been listing on. I think you did some too, Charlie. That's a pretty decent place to buy some cards. So yeah, if you need inventory, lots of avenues. I still think card shows are the best.
Do some stuff off of Whatnot. I still didn't even take out of the bag and start listing yet. So there's some good stuff to be had out there. This is all like dollar buys.
Mm-hmm.
I think you skipped over Fallen Prime there too. We had him up on the screen, but we didn't read his question. He was asking if there'll be a live the week of the National.
I was trying to avoid this, Charlie.
Why would you avoid it?
I'm just kidding. That's the intention. Okay, so here's the deal. We're on Central Standard Time, so we do the show at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time every Wednesday, as you guys know that are watching this live. So that's the goal. Now, the show, I believe, goes till 7 on Wednesday. I have to go back to my email. They just gave us the hours.
Okay.
I think it ends at 7. And I stay there for the entirety of Wednesday. That's an important day for me to buy. So I will be there until then. Now, unlike the last couple of years, I can't just walk back to my hotel. It's not connected to the convention center. We got to hop in a car and drive back and get everything set up. I can at least have some camera stuff set up ahead of time.
Well, we'll have 2 hours, right?
Well, no.
Roughly.
Well, if we leave the show at 7,
yeah,
and our live show's at 8, we would have an hour. But that's to get from the convention center back to the hotel.
An hour ahead, though, right?
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, then we would be okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, because the show goes till 7 their time,
which is 6 our time,
right?
And we have the show at 8 our time, Central Time. So that will be 9 o'clock there.
Yeah, we could do it at 9 o'clock, so it's still 8 Central Standard Time. You're right. I wasn't figuring in the time change.
And we'll have
thinking Cleveland was still Central.
And maybe I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure the timeline is.
You're likely right.
Michigan, Indiana, but we'll have to think about production too, because maybe back at the hotel isn't the right place to do it. We'll have Ethan there that maybe we can set up a camera across the table, and instead of doing the old split screen like we do on the regular lives, we have an actual, panel set up where we're sitting next to each other and Ethan can run the camera.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, why not, if we can do it?
Especially if we, connect with some viewers and maybe have a special guest or something like that.
Sure. Yeah, we'll probably still have to do it from my phone, though, because I don't have a way to pull up a live stream on my camera.
Sure. Yeah.
We'll have to see, we'll have to see how that works. But yeah, that's something we could do. But you're right. With our time change, I kind of forgot about that. That does give us 2 hours. So yes, we will have a live on Wednesday night to answer your question.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah. And you know what? This is going to be the very first thing we're going to ask on that live. You know what that question is going to be, Charlie?
What is that question going to be, Adam?
It's going to be, Charlie, did you buy anything? And you know what Charlie's answer is going to be?
I'm probably going to have my head down going, yeah.
He's going to say, I did, but I didn't buy everything.
There you go.
He's going to leave some for the rest of you. At least on Wednesday. All right, where am I going now? I got all the way back up on the chat here. All right, sales are solid. We did that one. I've had a lot of success listing hockey, but I'm going to want to turn to football and just in general continue to list. Yeah, listing is the key. I have some quote unquote vintage hockey to list, like 79 through 82 years of hockey. So I started putting some of that on there. I'm not really sure what the best time is to list hockey, so I just kind of list it when I get it because I don't know the market enough, and I try to stick to the bigger names. But I think we talked about this a little bit last week, but Crosby possibly surpassing Gretzky on the points total. So if he plays for a couple more years, I think there's a good possibility he could do that. So it's like, man, start buying some Crosby stuff. I think could be a decent buy. But yeah, any knowledge you have on hockey, I think most of us in the group are looking for more information on hockey. So yeah, make sure you join the Discord if you're not there yet, and share some stuff on there. Be much appreciated. Do you guys send offers when you have a sale going on? If so, they can take advantage of both. Okay, two different questions. Yes, I always send offers all day long, every day. I want that sale. And no, they cannot do both. So if you send an offer and they accept an offer, they're accepting whatever that offer was. Or if you have like a quantity coupon, which is generally what I use, they have to go in, add those items to their cart and check out on their own at full price, and then that coupon will apply. Right? That's what he's asking, right?
That's how I understand it.
Yep. Let's see. I'm basically off football, but I had my first multi-card ever today out of basketball. Little Bulls lot sold for me. Nice. Yeah, if you're just doing it as a side hustle, you can buy and sell whatever you want. But if you're trying to build it into some sort of a viable online retail business, you're going to have to get a little further than just football, I would think. Even if you just stick to the major sports, you'd be all right. But it's funny, we talked about this a while ago, but I actually know a seller who only sells Michael Jordan cards and makes a living on it. So and not only is that a single sport, that's a single player. Now it is Michael Jordan, to be fair, in the argument, and he was around in the years where cards were amazing and had a lot of good inserts and things like that. So that kind of created, you could create a single market around one player in that instance. But yeah, it's that doesn't work for most things, and I can't think of one football player where you could build a whole business around one football player.
Yeah, that would be
a little bit big enough. Yeah, unless you had like super rare stuff that you could get cheap. But good luck with that. Let's see. As you list more, it's definitely great to see those multi-card dealer orders come in. Yeah,
it is
pretty rare. I actually go through so many padded envelopes now, whereas I was buying them from eBay because I was using my coupon and getting them for free, and I had all these boxes of padded envelopes. Didn't think I would ever use, and now I'm using like 4 or 5 a day just to pack orders. Oh yeah. Or even, like I said, the little white boxes too. The smaller count card boxes. Actually, I'm out. I need to get a few of those too when I go back to the shop. Let's see. Year I was born. I think he's referring to
Back to the Future.
LeBron. No, LeBron. Anything that gets a sale, I'm happy to do. Yeah, of course. 1985. Yep. 39 years for Back to the Future. Geez, thanks for making me feel old tonight. Yeah, well, we're old too, buddy. Sure. What I mean is, can they accept the offer and use the coupon at checkout? No, they cannot. If they accept the offer, they have to pay for it. That's it. There's no checkout. There's no cart that goes into. I listed a 4-foot stuffed elephant last night. Nice. I had a couple of those big, like big head masks. Do you remember when those were a thing for a period of time?
Yeah.
Like different characters. I have a Chewbacca one. I have a sloth. And I have a Bumble from Rudolph.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually sell pretty decent. So I don't want those anymore, so I listed them online. And 2 of them still have the tags too, which is always a benefit. So yeah, you don't have to just buy and sell cards. You can list anything.
Excuse me. First thing I think of on that, sorry, I'm still fighting a sneeze here, is how are you going to ship that 4-foot stuffed elephant? Are you going to take a bath in the shipping?
Well, I think what you have to do is squish it down really good and shove it into a small enough box. I would imagine is the intention.
Of course, you can pass the shipping on to the buyer too.
For an item like that, I would charge shipping. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. England was playing Slovakia. I don't think that's true for yesterday. I can't remember what team they were playing. Hold on. England, Bellingham, goal. Oh, let's see. Slovakia. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Oh, you did say Slovakia. Damn. Why did that not sound right? I even watched most of that game. England has not looked good at all in this tournament. They're not the worst looking team out there, but yeah, they don't look up to what they should be. Let's go Canada. Okay. Tops announced the MVP buyback again for this year's Chrome coming out. Guess we'll be getting some, but the $40 price. Yeah, that's for sure. Exactly. We talked about that too. That it's too much. Mason Miller for the A's is someone I'm hoping gets noticed in the hobby.
Yeah, might get a little bump.
Most sales have been vintage cards. Yeah, vintage does pretty well for me too. Sorry I was not here at the start. It's okay, Dave. Thanks for joining me.
We forgive you, Dave.
Do you ever real dollar box hockey? I don't know what that means. Do you ever sell dollar box hockey? Do you ever
really find?
Oh, do you ever really dollar box hockey? I don't know what that means.
Do you ever really find dollar box hockey?
Find. Okay.
I find that a struggle.
Yeah, I do too. We don't really have. It's kind of weird because we live in Wisconsin. We don't really have a hockey team. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, we don't really have like pro hockey around here, so we don't. It just doesn't come up much.
Uh-oh.
That was a little card stack.
Oh, jeez.
Was.
It goes down.
That's okay. I gotta pack everything up tomorrow anyway. So, a few mini water balls in the backpack is a must at the National. Yes, absolutely. I tend to take and this is why I do it, because most of the places now have water filling stations. So I tend to take a pretty good size bottle, because those little bottles are really hard to fill in the filling stations. And I kind of swig out of that. I put my hydration packet in it, and then I'll drink out of that. And then when it starts getting low, it's usually by the time, it's snack time or lunchtime, whatever it is. And then I try to hit a water bottle filling station and refill. You don't want to try to buy, I would spend my money on cards there over buying a $5 bottle of water, I guess is the way I look at it. So I just tend to bring my own and deal with it.
You talk about your hydration at the National like you're still playing, pro soccer.
Well,
how active is it?
Well, you have to remember the last couple of years it was in Chicago and they didn't have air conditioning. It's the middle of July or end of July.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So you're just roasting and there's tons of people in there and it's just, and I'm working. I'm moving fast, trying to get table to table to get my deals, and it's a physical activity for me. It's not I don't stand around and not on the days where I'm trying to buy inventory. Okay, so
yeah, I mean, it takes a toll on the body. I guess I don't really think about hydration being one of the problems.
That's precisely why I brought it up, because I think that's a thing a lot of people don't think about, or they're walking around buying beers and doing that kind of stuff, and like, nah, you shouldn't be doing that.
Well, those are probably casual people.
Right.
They're working.
I was just going to clarify. If you're there to do what we're doing, and that's the crowd we're talking to in general here, and you're there to work and you're trying to get to the tables. You have to remember, like, you have a table here and somebody tells you, hey, there's some really good stuff at that, and it might be a half a mile walk to the other table and then back again. So I put like 28,000 steps on or something in one day last year. It was crazy because we were everywhere. But yeah, Ethan didn't really think about the hydration either, and he was like, "Man, you saved my butt." Yeah, but
yeah, those hydration packets 90 degrees in there and you're sweating all day. That's one thing.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Couple of those days. So, and if that's not your thing, and you're not going to get warm, whatever. But dude, I had a backpack on. I'm carrying at least like 50 pounds of cards around for half the day. So you're adding weight on, and
if it's hot like that, though, stick an extra stick of deodorant in that bag too.
Right. And that's what I was talking about with the pants falling down too. It's like everything just gets humidity, and all the humidity, everything
just
gets
3 sizes from the start.
Yeah, you just get sucked right down to the ground, So I'm hoping maybe it'll be, a little better temperature situation at this place, but I wouldn't count on that. You've got to be prepared for yourself for what you need to do. So, and it's not like I can just leave the show on Wednesday. That would be a total bad play. So, gotta find your way to get it through. So, the hydration packets, really nice portable little powder packets. They taste good. They're not super cheap, but they definitely do the job. So, I think I got 100 packets for $20 or something like that.
Okay.
So, but it's got just like a slight kind of lemonade-ish flavors.
The ones
horrible.
that I bought, they're good. Like it is. They're horrible.
No, they're good. No, they're good. I wouldn't say like, oh, dude, this is the best tasting thing you've ever had in your whole life, but that's not the point of it. Not the point of it. Bargain Box just says 23 days. Yeah, last time I saw you was last year at the National, so it'll be good to meet up with you again. Looking forward to it. So, what is the best way to promote lower in cards on eBay? Lower end cards on eBay. Yeah, just like selling any card, really. You got to promote your brand. Create a brand, promote it, provide good customer service, price things correctly, have cards people want to buy, have a good selection, get a lot of listings up, ship fast. All those things eBay wants you to do too, because you got to remember eBay is your partner in this, and if you're not doing what they want you to do, they're not going to put you in front of people. Do promotions, do coupons, do do a newsletter, contact your followers or your customers that come back to you. Message customer and say, hey, I know you always buy Jeter stuff from me. Here's an awesome Jeter card I thought you might be interested in. I'll list it today or whatever. So yeah, just like any other business, you gotta go and get it a little bit too. I think that's the one thing I run into the most on here with new people is they're like, oh, I just list cards and then I make all the money. Like, it's not quite that simple. Even listing cards is not that simple. Listing cards even takes a lot of effort. So you have to, if you're not going to put anything into it, you're not going to get anything out of it. And it's pretty much true for 99.9% of the things you could do in the world. So if the money was easy and free, everyone would do it. So you got to do a little bit of work. There is competition. There's, people that are going to do it better than you. So you have to find your way to get in. There's people who have been doing it longer than you. That's even harder to get into. So keep going. I read an article today that of the top 25 sellers on eBay, like dollar amount sellers on eBay, 5 of them are card sellers.
Okay.
That's pretty solid for a website that sells everything worldwide. 5 of them are card sellers. I think 1 was Pokemon and the rest were sports. Mainly sports. I'm sure they all do some non-sport or whatever, but that spoke volumes to me. That's a big money making company, and boom, 5 of them were cards. So there's a lot of market out there for this stuff. Red Light's here. Hello, everyone. Hello. Is it me you're looking for? Ovechkin is going to go for goal. Gretzky's goal Oh, that's who it was. Ovechkin. My bad. I spoke out of turn. Crosby is in his last few years of his career. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be really interesting. And I do have some Ovechkin stuff too. Nothing fancy, but yeah, his stuff moves pretty well. Let's see. Art Park on Discord.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, I know who you are then. I don't know why I didn't put those two and two together. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard because you guys have one name here and one name there,
Right.
to try to put it together. Is categorizing my eBay store worth it? You think? I do pretty good for a while, then I get lazy and I do not take the time to look up the category number. Thanks, guys. I do a lot of categories in my store, but I've heard from lots of other sellers who don't bother. So I don't know. Got to figure out what works for you. What I can tell you is this is the way why I do it. I'm mainly a player focused seller. I have certain players that I sell a lot of. So I want to have a category of a player to make it easier for my buyer to just go in and look at the cards that they would actually want to buy. Now, if you're a lot of your customers, you have to know your customers, I think is the key to this answer. But if your customers are team collectors and they're coming in and buying a bunch of Bulls cards or they're buying a bunch of Lakers cards, well, then maybe you want to have some team categories where you throw players cards in there. If you sell a lot of Batman cards, maybe you want to have a Batman category. Right. So I don't think it's going to hurt to have categories. But is it going to make or break your store? Probably not. Yeah. That either. So it's really up to you. I did categories early on and I expanded. Once I made a Will Clark category. I finally, had 30, 40 cards of Will Clark. I'm like, okay, we just talked about him being a decent seller. And, obviously Charlie did the numbers and that shows that as statistic as well. So I'm like, all right, I'll make a Will Clark category. So you can make a category afterwards and throw all those cards in there. It's not hard to do with the bulk edit. So
yeah, that's how I do it. For my pro tip, Robert, is don't worry about looking up the category. I assume by that you mean you are doing your export in CDP and then you're trying to copy and paste in the category or fill it in on the export spreadsheet. Don't do it that way. You will save yourself a ton of time and effort by just uploading it with your basic stuff, then do a search for that player or team, whatever you want to do in your listing, and bulk edit all of them by adding you're either changing your primary category or adding the secondary category.
Yeah, so I don't mess with I don't like the time involved, so I don't mess with the spreadsheet at all with CDP. I just upload everything. And then like every couple of weeks, what I'll do is I'll go through my categories and I'll just look up cards for each category and I'll just make sure that I bulk edit so that they're all in the category. So like, for example, I got a Derek Jeter category. Over this next month, I'll have some Jeter cards listed. And then at the end of the month, I'll just look up Derek Jeter in my listings, and then I'll just bulk edit the category on all of them to Jeter. That way I know for sure they've all been done.
Yep.
And there's a lot of them where they'll just get sold and it won't matter. So I don't have to bother with those. So.
Yeah. And don't feel like you have to have a category for everything. You can do it as much or as little as you want. If you want one player category and the rest is just major sports, there's no problem with that. Don't feel like, well, now I did an Ohtani category, so now I need an Aaron Judge category, and I need a Barry Sanders category for football. Just go at the speed you want, because there's no definitive evidence that that's going to drive your sales, right? May make it more convenient for your specific set of buyers, which you'll learn over time. But those buyers are still likely going to buy from you, even if they have to do the primary search and say, hey, I'm looking for Ricky Henderson today. They're just going to put it in the search bar, and they'll still find it. Mm-hmm. But if you find, to Adam's point, hey, you're selling 30, 40 Ricky Henderson a week, you probably have some return buyers in there, and you may want to cater to them and say, hey, make it easier for you. I'm going to give you a Ricky Henderson category.
So, and one of the main reasons I like it is I bought a URL for my store, and that's where I point my customers to, as opposed to finding me through eBay, so I can avoid a lot of the promotion payments to eBay on listings. So if you go to the dollarbox.shop, it pulls up a different looking storefront page than if you looked for me directly on eBay. There's like a landing or a host page. So I like that because it displays categories in there. So to me, it looks more organized. It's more finished off. All the categories are listed in a column as well. Versus if you don't have categories, it's kind of randomly going to look very random on the screen. So yeah, you have to kind of feel out what works for you and what doesn't. And this will blow your mind, but I actually have 2 categories on every one of my listings. So if I'm listing it, you're allowed 2.
Yep.
So I do. If I'm listing a Derek Jeter card, it goes under baseball cards and Derek Jeter.
Right.
So, so I have, boom, you don't have to use any category. You can just type in what you want, and you can find the card that way. I have, boom, you don't know what you want, but you want baseball cards. You can click on baseball and find it in there. Or, boom, I want Derek Jeter stuff. Boom, and you can just click Jeter, and you can find them there, too. So trying to make, efforts for my customers as easy as possible. I also think this is easier if you do it when you're first starting out.
Yeah.
Because I'm up to like 50 some categories, and if I had to do all those now, I don't know that I would do it. I kind of feel it out. Like Charlie said, there's no like you have to have a category for everybody. You certainly don't do that. But if I feel like, geez, I have more cards of this guy now, and then I look at it listings, and I've got 50 cards of this player, I'll be like, okay, that's worth creating a category for. If you have 2 cards of a player, the category is not really going to do anything for you.
Right.
In fact, it might make you look worse because they click on that category and they're like, dude, guys only got 2 cards. Right. So it has to be sort of appropriate to your scale and, your like Charlie said, your customer base and what your customers are looking for. And then you can make some decisions from there if it's for you or not. But like I said, I know plenty of sellers that don't use the categories really at all. So
yeah, as a buyer, I've never really clicked into any of the categories.
I have because my PC is farmed. So I'll go into a bigger store. Like if I went into, let's say Burbank, right? We'll use one of those top 5 eBay sellers. Burbank is the number 1. If I go in there, I do not want to go swimming through that 3 million cards. I want to go to the Brett Favre category and just have all that stuff pulled up. Now, yes, I could just type in the search bar Brett Favre, but maybe there's a card that's spelled wrong that isn't in there. I feel like if I go to the category, it should be everything that I'm looking for if they're doing their job correctly.
Careful now, you're almost giving away some free tips there on your sourcing.
Stop. This is probably going to be the slow season for hockey until the season starts back up in October. And that's what I would expect. That's what it is for pretty much every sport. So, now, that being said, if I'm a buyer for hockey right now, that's what I want. I don't want it to be the hot season. I don't want to pay up for those cards. But I'll definitely be looking for some Ovechkin stuff. Because I think that there's some opportunity for him as he gets closer to that record. That record matters. Like, Gretzky's numbers matter.
Yeah.
Even if you don't really know hockey well, you know Gretzky and you know what he was able to accomplish. And as Ovechkin comes closer, I think it's going to be talked about a little bit more, and then I think some people will want to be getting into some of that. So, Robert says, my Cersei sports card show, Arkansas, 3 weeks out. Vendor tables all sold. Need buyers now. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's right. You were talking about a show last week, I believe. This is the one. 40 vendor tables all sold. Need buyers now. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't worry about getting buyers. It doesn't seem like this is a hobby where there's never buyers.
If you host it, they will
and
come.
That's sort of the beauty of it. It feels like there's always somebody selling, there's always somebody buying, because there's so many different cards, there's so many different price points. Yeah, just got to keep moving, keep thrusting in it, and keep going.
Keep her moving.
Let's see. Oh, this is funny that he brings this up because I get so annoyed by this, and this is something
I do too.
Oh my God, I go change it all the time because I hate it. I don't want A, B, C, and D after all my freaking card numbers.
Yeah.
That'd be my one thing I would, maybe we need to poke Alex about that and be like, dude, can you drop this crap? Nobody's looking for card number 126D.
Yeah. So I've got a pro and con on that. I like that they call them out because it's typically for the variations, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want it on my title for the listing. So if they could somehow separate that, I would love it.
So what I do is I leave it as it is when I'm in like what's the first view of the cards that they give you? What's it called again? Inspector. I don't know. I can never remember the name of that.
Yeah.
So then I do whatever I'm doing in Inspector just to get them all set up, and then I go to the spreadsheet version. What's the spreadsheet version? Overview, right? And then and that's where I go change it. So I go to the title line, basically go to all those title lines, and I go, okay, that's an A. Click delete. B is in this one. Click delete. And then I leave it in descriptions or variations or whatever, which is what Charlie's looking for. So I've managed to do it pretty quickly and effortlessly. But yeah, I hate it. I really hate it. Now, if I'm in that, those first screens and I'm in there changing something in the title already, then I'll delete the letter right away. But if it's good to go, I just put it ready to upload, and then in the overview is where I change them all because I think it's quicker there. So that's my process for that. But I'm glad you brought that up because I hate it. It's terrible. But I'm like, as soon as I'm listing like 1990 Donruss or something, I'm like, this is gonna suck because it's gonna be
one's got the period, one,
I think I was just complaining about that in Discord the other day when somebody messaged me and they're like, does this have the dot after the ink? I can't even see the damn thing. I got my magnifying glass and I'm like, am I really looking for a period on a $1.99
right
card? And I did, and I had like 7 copies of this card. 2 of them had the dot, 5 didn't, so he bought the 2 of them, and I'm like, I don't even care if it's worth $1 more than the other one. Just take these stupid things so I don't have to talk about it anymore. It's the dumbest reason to buy a certain copy of a card because it's got a period on it. No, if one is like
different printing presses printed them in different locations, and they had the press set different. That's all it is. It wasn't intentional.
No, if you're talking about 2 legit different cards, like there's a Leaf card and a Donruss card, a lot of times CDP doesn't pick those up correctly either. It'll be like 1982 Donruss, and I got to change it to Leaf. That I want correct, like that matters, right? Those are literally 2 different, same company, but 2 different brands, and one has Leaf on it, one has Donruss on it. That's different, but period on the back or has the @ symbol on or the copyright symbol, the other one doesn't, But if you've got a Topps card and then you've got an O-Pee-Chee card, those are 2 different cards. Those need to be done, as separate listings. But the little stupid doesn't matter error corrections on overprinted cards in the 90s.
You bring up another pet peeve I have with the CDP setup is that in the English language, there's a difference between manufacturer and brand. And the way CDP is set up, they use brand for where we would normally list, the manufacturer, Panini,
right? Correct.
And I don't like that. It causes a disconnect in my brain every time I fill that in, and I'm like, it's not really the brand.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things you just have to go, okay, well, they just didn't categorize it correctly. It's still correct. It's just not categorized correct. So that doesn't bother me as much as like card 56D. It's not 50. It's card 56. There's no goddamn D. If you look at the back of the card, it doesn't say D.
Right.
Take that off of there.
Right.
Because if sometimes people don't know the year of the set or whatever, so they'll just be like, okay, I need this Manny Ramirez card 568, and I've done that with Favre cards. The printing year might be different than the issue year or whatever, and I'll just type in, Brett Favre card 568, and that'll pop it up generally.
Yeah.
But if there's A, B, and D, I don't know. So we're with you, Joe, on this one. Anybody out there who has CDP, poke Alex and tell him to get that crap changed because it's annoying. So, but I'm trying to cut them some slack because they added non-sports, and it almost made me cry. It was like the greatest. It's probably the best news I've heard in a decade. So
you were like a kid on Christmas morning.
Yeah, it was mind blowing, and we found out about it on this show, which is really
Right.
weird. You think we would have seen? I got the email the next day, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we already know that. I was actually kind of still glad we got the email though, because it was like, well, how many did they really add? Like, is it like, a couple of main sets and that's it? And then it was like 40 some thousand sets, and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty good now. I can get most of my stuff on there. There are definitely some more obscure things that I have that didn't pop up, but I can deal with a few here. Hell, there's sports cards that I can't get on there, so that's okay. But if I can, I did an entire set of Empire's 1980 tops, Empire Strikes Back cards, and it took me a little over 20 minutes. That would have been a couple of hours doing them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
One by one, and I have like 5 sets I have to list, and they were in my I don't want to do it pile for a while. And I needed to list them because I sold a lot of my Empire Strikes Back cards, so I wanted to get more on there. And man, that was awesome to just zip right through, bag them, zip right through, bag them. And yeah, that's a game changer when you're trying to do this for a living, and time is one of your most valuable assets.
Are you having technical difficulties there?
Yeah, a little bit. I couldn't get the screen to touch. Sometimes my lamp like does this Bobby thing anyway. Critter will have to put a quarter in a jar every time he uses the phrase "for that being said." Oh, do I say that a lot? I don't know. I never realized
that. A couple times in the show.
Oh. Yeah. Bonus. Then I'm going to say it more because I need a lot of quarters in a jar. So
every good show needs a drinking game based on it.
That's right, for reals. So yeah, so we're caught up. We're caught up in the chat. But yeah, I think Card Dealer Pros come light years forward in the last few months. I wasn't even going to use Card Dealer. It was never my intention at the beginning of the year to even use them. And then they put Card Dealer 2.0 out, and I studied that pretty good. And Charlie and I had gotten closer to getting a scanner, which I think makes sense if you have Card Dealer Pro. So I was like, okay, I'm in on this now. I think they have something to offer me, and now with adding the non-sports, and I actually just made a post on Discord not that long ago. I actually just bought up in my plan because I'm running out of scans too fast now.
Yeah.
And if you scan a set of non-sports stuff, I mean, you're looking at a couple hundred cards maybe, if you're doing every single card. And when I do, vintage stuff, you're going to scan you're not going to leave a card off. All those cards can be listed.
Especially when you're doing it full time. I mean, you can put through heck of a lot more volume. Even when I have the scanner, I'm still only scanning a couple hours a day, and listing a couple hours a day.
Yeah, so basically, and maybe I should even do an updated video on this, but basically my daily routine has changed a bunch since I went full time, which was almost a year ago, actually. It'll be a year ago on the 27th of July, or 26th of July, something like that. But I used to come in and I would do my end listing, sell similar. I don't have time for that anymore. I haven't done an end listing, sell similar in a while because I have enough volume, so I haven't really felt the need to do it. But yeah, I basically try to scan something in right away because eBay likes you to touch it right away in the morning, or all day long, really. And I get some listings on there just to get some new flow, get some new eyes out there, and hopefully I'll make some sales. And then I'm pulling. So I'm pulling from I pull all my bagged cards first because I enjoy doing that, and I hate pulling the other cards. So I do the enjoyable ones first, and then I start pulling all the cards that are not in the new inventory system yet. Luckily, that's less than half now. I've got quite a few bagged. But I do that, and then even on a slower day, it takes me about 3 hours to pack orders, just due to volume. So like I use my little catch tray from the scanner to put my cards in when I go fill them from the cabinet, and pretty much every day I have at least 2 of these.
Okay.
So I don't know how many cards this holds, but probably like 50 to 75, somewhere in there. So, and then after the weekend, I have like 5 of these or 6 of these, plus any graded cards or anything else that doesn't go in there. So, so that's pretty much what I do for a couple hours there, and then hopefully I still have time, and then I try to take a stack out of my non-bag drawer and get those skewed so I can bag them and put them away correctly. Try to do a stack or two of those each day. Keep that moving. Luckily, a lot of stuff sells out of those, so I just pull them and ship them. And then none of them will ever go back into that drawer or into the loose cards area, if you will. Yeah, and then try to do a little bit of accounting and see where I'm at on that. If I need to buy anything, luckily I haven't had to really look for inventory for a while, so I haven't had to spend my time on that. I've just been pounding the pavement and getting the listings up there. So
yeah.
Now my listing number doesn't seem like it's increased by that much, but I'm selling a couple hundred a day. So, you have to list a couple hundred just to keep pace.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens when, as it gets bigger and you're scaling up. So that's kind of what my daily is now. And then, whatever tactics I have to take after that. I can't take my mail to the post office anymore until all my baby envelopes are gone. I have a box that I've been dropping them in, and I haven't gotten one single call or envelope or return or stamp at all. So I have to drive over there to drop those off. But it gets picked up at 2. So I want to get there. I don't want them to sit in there overnight. So I want so by 1:30ish, I got to get out of here and get my stuff over there. And then I usually do whatever runs I need to do in that day. If I got to pick up stuff for the house or I need, inventory bags or whatever I got to do, I do that stuff. And then come back and I try to organize a few things, consolidate some boxes if I can, with so much stuff being here right now. And then lately it's been, okay, I'm going to take a few things down to the new office.
Yeah. The USPS stuff is still something that just boggles my mind. And I'm very fortunate. I've used the number 6 envelopes. I ship 90% of my cards in a top loader. I got 1 card back over the course of a year. 1. Mm-hmm. And that was just recently. But then at the same time, you've run into major problems with your substation for the post office. On the Discord, there's people always saying, yep, their local office won't take any of them. It's so different from post office to post office. It just, there's no standard.
And what I learned through going to a few different locations to try to figure out what will work for me is if you just dump them in a random blue box, they don't look at any of it. It just goes right to sorting, and then that's it. And sorting doesn't care unless something gets stuck. Right. If it gets stuck, you're going to get busted. Right. But none of my stuff, of course, got stuck. They were just preemptively pulling stuff out because they were being jerks about it.
Yeah.
So that, and then switching to the number 10 envelopes. Everything will go through with another number 10 envelope. Speaking of which, have you read the shipping policy from buysportscards.com at all?
I looked at it when I first thought about signing up. That was probably 5-6 months ago, though. I don't remember it.
So their standard envelope's more expensive, by the way. It's 85 cents.
Right.
But they say it could be a top-loaded card in a number 10 envelope. So they're the first ones to really come out and say this is the envelope you should use, whereas eBay is like, use an envelope and it can be up to this size. They didn't really dictate any of that. So I when I read that, I found it interesting because it's like, oh yeah, well, number 10s, that's what we're going to now. So,
and I used the last of my number 6s this morning, actually, and I just got 1,000 number 10s in. I'm going to go to just using number 10s, and the reason why is because with my last quarterly coupon, I got some of those eBay 3 pockets, and I was like, well, even though I haven't been having problems, I'll make sure I don't, and I'm just going to use a number 10, like the 3 pockets. And what I do is I put one top loader vertical like that in the middle. I put a little rolled over piece of tape on the back to hold it in the middle, just like that. And that's how I send it out. Now I can bend on both sides. It should be no problems in the sorting. Now, if I have multiple card sales, then I use the card savers, and I do have to put it, the other way. But I do still, I roll over that piece of tape to hold it to one side or the other.
Yeah, I don't do
that. Yeah.
Nope, I don't do any of that. That sounds like it would take time and attention, and I don't do that.
It does.
So I take it does more than what I do. So I take my envelope, I take my card, I stick it on the bottom, because the key is that the envelope can bend in half. That's what the post office master told me that I went and talked to when I got a bucket of crap back and I was tired of dealing with that. And I said, what do you want me to do? What should I use? What will get these through? And she said, well, just make sure the envelope can bend in half. So if I put the card on the bottom half of the envelope, it can bend entirely in half. So that's how I do it. And you don't really need the tape because it tucks in so nice into this corner of the envelope that it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not sure I buy into that theory. I think it does move.
I've shipped thousands of them like this now, and I've never heard anything back from anybody. So
you won't. You won't. Why would you hear just because the top loader moved in the envelope?
Well, then why does it matter if it stays? If no one cares?
Because then I know for sure. Yeah, I'm just saying that I know for sure then that it's not going to move. The way you're doing it, you don't know if it's moving or not.
I don't really care if it does. It's not going to matter.
And that's the thing. None of what we're doing for shipping matters because from one post office to the next, it's totally random.
Yeah, I think the main thing is just that it doesn't get caught in the machine. So as long as you're doing that, you're never going to have a problem. She said two things. She said it cannot be too thick.
Yep.
You got to make sure you stay under that quarter. To exercise caution, go short, thinner if you need to, if you think it's close. And she said the envelope has to bend in half.
Yeah.
So I literally had a number 10 with me, and I said, if I put the card right here, and it can do this, and she's like, yep, that's perfect. Every one of those will go through, and we won't grab any of them. I'm like, good enough. All I need to know is what you want, even if I don't think it makes sense. It doesn't matter.
Local one, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. But it's like I was telling Luna last night about the referee, and she's like, well, the referee was wrong. And I'm like, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The referee is God out on that field, and you have to do it that person says because they have all the control. They decide whether or not you get a foul, you get a penalty, whether or not you can continue in the game.
Yeah.
So it's one of those learning curve things.
The other thing I've been fortunate with too is 90% of everything I've shipped over the past year and whatever it's been now, I've just put in my mailbox outside. Every once in a while, I might drop it in the blue box up the street if it's after my mail pickup and I'm leaving town or something. But so far, I've been lucky with everything just going on in my mailbox and not having an issue.
Yeah, I want a postal worker to go there and literally open the box, take a bin, and dump it, and then never look at it again. That's what I want. And to be fair, I have a lot more volume, so I can't put. I'm not putting 5 envelopes in my mailbox. I'd be putting 200. Plus, I have packages. So I actually make 2 mail stops in a day. Now, I don't mail every day. I print postage every day, but sometimes I won't mail it until the next day. So I'm not doing it every day. Does that make sense? So
well,
if I print my labels on Tuesday morning, I might leave them here and then Wednesday morning do my labels and then ship everything on Wednesday. Actually, drop them in.
I don't know why you would, but I get it. It's so easy to mail it. Why would you sit on it?
Because I got to drive over there and drop it off, and that's not very convenient some days.
Oh, that's true. You live out in the country a little bit now. So.
A little bit. And the closest blue box is over on Velp, so it's like a 10-minute drive. And
that makes sense.
There's other stuff I can get done in the day. I only have to print the label next day. I don't have to ship it next day.
Yeah.
You have like 4 days to ship it. So those are 2 different numbers. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. So I do that a lot. I lose my train of thought.
For that being said,
Sure. Now I'm done talking. Yeah, so I think it's just a matter of finding out what your postal, like Charlie said, finding out what your place needs and go with that. And I've had, like I said, no problem since. And the other thing I was going to say is I have packages, so I'll have and you have to remember I have another business too, and some of those are bigger. So I can't use my mailbox. That would never work.
Right.
And I don't want to leave that stuff sitting in there. And I don't like my postal person, and so there's that part. But So my bigger packages, my higher dollar packages, I do take those still directly to the post office and put them right inside the building. I don't use blue boxes for that stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about them sending those back because they're packages. They're posted.
Right.
You can package that however you want. They're nowhere near the size limits or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a little different between our operations.
Right. So I'll generally have like 4 or 5 of those when I'm taking mail. So I'll run there, which is pretty close to my house. And generally it's not directly on the way to the blue box, but it's not out of the way of the blue box.
Right.
By much either. So I just do those 2 runs at one time. And I look at it this way. A big part of my business is getting the product to the customer. This is what I have to do to get the product to the customer. So I just do it. Mm-hmm. No point in complaining about it. No point. I have to find out how it works into my logistics. So I mail like maybe 3 days a week, and that's it. I print postage every day, but I only mail three times a week. So it's not like I'm running there every day. And there might be, a day where I do it anyway, and it's like, me and the wife got to make a run somewhere, got to take the kids somewhere. I'll be like, all right, I'll take the mail with me then, and I'll drop it, So you can fit it into other stuff sometimes too. The biggest thing with those blue boxes is I don't want that stuff sitting in there overnight. Somebody decides to grab that box. I don't want 200 of my cards in there.
Who grabs a mailbox?
It's happened. It's happened. If they think something's in it, what if somebody, was watching me and was like, dude, that guy, put in like 50 packages in there. It's got to be something of value. Who knows?
I suppose.
Who knows? So, because those blue boxes aren't exactly monitored. They're just,
no, not at all.
Barely bolted to a piece of concrete. So there's no alarms on them. It's not like, ripping on. There's no camera. There's no.
I think you just came up with an idea for a new movie. Instead of a bank heist, it's a mailbox heist.
I think that would have been more viable years ago when people actually did stuff with the mail. More so than they do now. And I think most people, if they have packages, they take them right to a drop as opposed to a blue box. So it's probably mainly just envelopes with random non-valuable items in it. But
if I have a package, I either go right to the post office, or if I can fit it in my mailbox, I do sometimes leave it in my mailbox.
So that's why I try to go, I know that mail gets picked up at 2. It says it right on the blue box. I've been there before when the postal guy has gotten there to empty it. So I try to go somewhere between 1 and 1:30, drop that off. It's less than a half-hour time, and it gets picked up and it's out of there. So
yeah.
So that's the adjustment I've had to make to do what I got to do. Now, fortunately, it's about a block down from a Taco Bell, so I can drop it off. And at 2:00 is happy hour at Taco Bell, and I can get my Baja Blast for $1 at Taco Bell. So if I time my day correctly, I can drop my mail in the blue box. I can go down to my Taco Bell, get my drink, and then come back for my afternoon. So it's all about packing in as much stuff as you can in each trip. Right?
Master plan.
We have a tax question here, which I hate, but we'll try to do something with it if I can touch it. There we go. Different subject. This is from Andrew. What do you claim for taxes in regard to deductions? Well,
first, that's a disclaimer.
Yeah, that's of course going to be different for everyone, and we are not tax professionals, nor do we give tax advice. But just kind of the standard things any business would. Mileage if I have to drive somewhere for my business. Meals if I'm out at a show and I'm eating lunch at a show. Any supplies, any shipping materials. Well, that's not really a deduction. Yeah, that's a deduction. Boxes to store cards in. Whatever expenses you have for your business is something you can deduct. Yeah, well, yeah. And, any trip type stuff. So yeah, obviously the hotel, the badge to get into the show, things like that. I mean, it's pretty hard to argue that that's not a business expense when it's the largest card show in my business is selling cards.
All right.
So I guess the biggest tip I could give you, because I don't really want to go over all my own stuff, but the biggest tip I would give you is, would it make sense if somebody else was looking at this, right? So let's say Charlie didn't know anything about cards, and I run a card business, and he works for the IRS, and he came in to me and he'd be like, "What is this receipt for a hotel?" And I say, "Oh, that's the big national card convention. I go there, I pick up a lot of my inventory there, I do some networking, I might make some sales there or whatever, but that's the biggest event of the year for, card dealers.
Mm-hmm.
Would that make sense to you, Charlie? If you were looking at me to see if that was a viable deduction? Yes, you would.
Yeah.
And you could easily look that up. You can look up that information, what was where. I can show you my badge. So it needs to make sense. If you're doing mileage, you got to write it down. You got to record it. Where did you go? How many miles did you travel? Things like that. So, pretty simple. There isn't that much. I work in a home office. There isn't like a huge ton of deductions.
Right.
It's envelopes. There's a cost to that. Your shipping expense. All the things that cost you money to run your business.
Yeah.
They need to make more referee cards. Yeah, you know it, brother.
I've got some wrestling referee cards, which I always thought were kind of fun.
That is fun. I've never had a problem with Mercari or BSC mailings with their PWE mailings. Only eBay. I think some employees just look for the eBay brand. Yeah, I think you just have to find. I think everybody can do it in their area. You just have to find the path. That gets your stuff through. And I know for a fact that shipping the number 10 envelopes has definitely helped me, because in a day, if I have this many number 10 envelopes and I have this many number 6 envelopes, for example, they're probably going to just let these few go through anyway. Versus if this whole stack was number 6s, they'd be like, no, we're going to send those back to them.
Every one of those is going to get stuck in the sorter. I'm not sending it in there. Where's the bin? Right. We're sending these back.
So I think, and the only reason I'm still using number 6s at all is because I have a whole bunch of boxes of them and I don't want them to go to waste. So this is my plan to get rid of my final number 6 envelopes. So anything I sell for $3 or more automatically goes in an envelope. Anything that's more than one card goes in a number 10 envelope. If it's let's say I get a sale for $1.99 or $2.25 or something like that, goes in a number 6. Because if it gets lost, it gets rejected or whatever, or I have to give a refund, at least it's on my lowest priced cards, and it's only a single card, so it should go through without a problem. So that's what I've been doing. So I don't have a ton of those sales and not a ton of singles of those sales, but I have a few every day. So, I might use, 8 or 10 of these at a time, and I just keep going through them. Yeah, this is a business where you use a ton of envelopes. So even though it looks like I have like 30 boxes of envelopes, they'll actually go pretty quick. If you're using 10 a day, and there's 100 envelopes in a box, it only takes you 10 days to use a whole box.
Yeah.
So they'll go. I can already tell my stack is, come down quite a bit. Unfortunately, I am going to have to move them into my new office because I will not be done with them. I was hoping I'd be done with them before then. But that's been moving along pretty good, and we should be able to finish it this weekend. So we're going to have to go downstairs until I use them up. But at least I got through about 15 boxes or so in the last week and a half. So they've been moving. Well, no, it hasn't been that long. It's been longer than that. A month and a half, maybe. I don't know. It equates to like a box every 8 or 10 days, basically, is what I've been going through. Using the reduced amount of time I've been using them. But I've been having a lot more multi-card orders. So I don't even have that many opportunities to use number 6 envelopes as it is. So it kind of makes sense to phase them out anyway.
I just like one of the best feelings I had when I used the last number 6 today and made the determination that I'm going to just number 10s is, I no longer have that moment of decision where am I going to grab a number 6 or number 10? That's gone, and it feels so good.
Yeah, it's one less stack of stuff on your, filling spots. And one of the biggest reasons I used the number 6 was because I thought it made it less floppy and less likely to get torn open and all that kind of stuff. So to me, that made sense. The other reason was they were pretty cheap. They were like $1.40 something when I first started out. Now they're up to almost $2 a box. So they're really not that much better of a deal than a number 10, because you can buy number 10s in bigger quantities. You can't really get number 6s in like 1,000 count box. For whatever reason, they don't really sell them that way. It's like 100 count and that's it. Versus I get 500 count boxes of these, and they're only about a half a cent more now than the number 6s. So there's really not much added cost. Better quality envelope. It's a little sturdier. It complies with what my mail people want to see, and I think you're less likely to get them lost or tossed aside because they are the chosen size of envelope in the industry. So yeah, and like Charlie said, you only need the one envelope then, because you can put your 2 card savers in there. You can put a thicker 1 card saver in there. You can put a tall boy card in there. You can put I even had a 4x6 card I sold the other day. Those jumbo cards or whatever, that fit in there on its own. So it just makes sense. So the only thing I'm going to carry for envelopes once my 6s are gone is number 10 and 6x9, because I still use those. Let's see. Dan said number 10 envelope never had a problem. Number 6 was starting to give me shipping anxiety of people saying it never arrived. And that was probably the post office holding it up. They might have thrown it into a bin to measure it, or wait to throw those in the machine so they wouldn't get stuck. Who knows? But that could have delayed your delivery from that too. MI3 card says he prefers. Why can't I touch the screen tonight?
I don't know. You want me to show it? I can switch it.
I got it. I prefer sending 1 to 2 cards in a number 6. That's exactly what I had been doing for a long time, but just honestly, the headaches weren't worth it. Not when there wasn't a cost savings anymore. That totally wiped it out for me. I'm like, nope, just going to number 10s. The other thing is I don't have to go to stupid Walmart to buy them. I hate that place. And that's literally the only reason I would go there. So I'd go there and I'd have to go through that self-checkout with all those idiots that stare at you, and I don't know, I hated it. So for me now, I just put it on.
Full of envelopes.
Yeah, if you can find them. There's a lot of times where they don't even have any on the shelf, so I stop there and I don't even get anything. And the number 10s I get from Amazon. I have a link. If you go to the Discord links, or in my video descriptions, I have a link in there to my affiliate link for buying the number 10 envelopes. But if you do subscribe and save with them, like I said, it's only like a penny, like a half a penny more per envelope for the number 10s. And I think you get some value out of that too. Just that it's a little bit sturdier envelope, because that's the other thing, Charlie. Remember, the Walmart envelopes have downgraded the quality too.
Yeah.
They turn into, these are actually a little bit older, so they're not quite as bad, but the newer ones are really floppy. And
yeah, you thought it was crazy when I sent you that, but you just hadn't gotten the new ones yet.
Yeah, well, I had, and that's what I'd been using, and I finally got down to the older ones that I have left now, and yeah, there's a difference. So
definitely.
Yeah, that's what I think, and I have them on auto reorder. I get 500 envelopes every month. They just get delivered to my door. So you save on, I probably save the half a penny just not driving to stupid Walmart and back, pick them up. If you look at gas and time and everything else. So
yeah,
probably about a wash on cost, or maybe I have even a little bit of savings at this point. I don't know. But that's what I plan to do. And if you need some extra boxes, you just order some extra boxes. You can get them. It's not a unavailable thing. So that's my take on the envelope thing. And no, it doesn't make sense to me. If I have 1 or 2 cards, it should go in a number 6 envelope. That makes sense in my brain, but it doesn't with how the postal system works. You have to work with them. You have to be a partner with them, and that means compromising what you want to do or what you think is right to equal what. If they're not going to deliver it, it doesn't matter what you think.
Right.
It's just like the referee thing. Well, he was wrong. The call was wrong. It doesn't matter. That's the guy that makes the call. If you call the foul, you back up and you play defense. Like tough nuggies. The world isn't always fair. It isn't always right, and you have to stand there and yell about it is probably just going to do worse things for you. So, write it off and move on. So that's what I did. I found a way to work with it. Being a business owner is all about problem solving, right? I listened to a economics guy this morning because I'm weird and I watch stuff like that. And that's what he said. He said, being a business owner is not about, making, well, it is about making money and stuff, but he said, really what your point is, the reason you're in business is to solve someone's problem, right? So the reason Facebook exists is because people wanted an online community, a way to, communicate easily online. The reason cell phones exist is basically that same purpose. The reason we have computers is to be able to do things quicker. Like those things are all good products and they make money and they, all that stuff. But the main reason they're there and why people want them and people use them is because they solve a problem. So
right.
If you're going to own a business, even if it's selling cards, you have to be able to solve. You have to solve problems. If you can't do that, it's probably not the right thing for you. If you're going to stand there and complain, it's not going to do your business any good. So I was having a problem with the mail. I was having a problem with the envelopes I was using. So I solved the problem and found a cost-effective, easier way to do it. It's actually going to be better for me in the long run, even though it doesn't make sense in my head to put one envelope in the corner or one card in the corner of this stupid envelope. That's what it needs to be. So find your solutions for that and turn it into a positive, even if it's not the way you think it should be done. And I think that is kind of standard. That does seem like that's what they're requiring you to do, is have a number 10 envelope. For as much as we've seen from different postal things, right, Charlie, with different posts and stuff, the consensus still seems to be use that number 10 and make sure it can fold.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that seems like a pretty easy solution, even though it's not maybe the one you want to hear.
The other thing we hear a lot, like I see other content creators talk to folks and they say, what my postmaster told me is you can't use these. And that is one thing that I still contest. Like this should not be forbidden. It is flexible, that does bend. You can't tell me that this is a major problem. That is someone who doesn't really understand what this is telling us we can't use it.
Yeah, so now, and I agree, I still like top loaders better because I think the collectors want top loaders. Mm-hmm. That was my main reason for doing it, so that they could just take the card and it was in a holder that they wanted. Mm-hmm. That being said, I don't buy top loaders anymore. I only buy the Elite Savers because they're a heck of a price and they come with the free sleeves. And then I just use the top loaders when I get them from buying cards.
Sure.
Because I'm not going to give up I'm not going to take the free supplies and not use them. And I don't use top loaders at all for my own stuff. So that's the way I look at it. I mean, Kelly's right. If it's a single card, I'll still stick it in that number 6 envelope in a top load if it's, if it fits, if it's not too thick or whatever. So, yeah. That being said, there you go. That being said, I don't mind these as much as I used to, and I think just about every customer is not shocked if they get their card in one of these.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Versus I think when I started this, like during the pandemic, everybody was like, do you ship in a top load? Do you ship in a top load? Do you ship in a top load? Like customers would email you before they would even buy the card to see how you shipped it.
Yeah.
So that really influenced me, like, okay, I got to do this stuff in a top load. That's what everybody wants. Doesn't seem like it matters much anymore, and I think almost all the sellers are using card savers. So the other thing is they're cost effective, but they're also like small. Yeah. Like you can have a whole stack of these, and it doesn't take up nearly as much room as top. Like this is probably, it was 2 packs that I opened this morning, so I don't know exactly how many this is, but 5 top loads is like this much, right? Right there. So it's like less than a third or a quarter of the size of a top load.
Yeah.
So space size it is nice.
I still like the top loader for singles. Anytime I have more than one card, I go right to the card savers, though. I even have a bunch of bigger size top loaders. I couldn't tell you the last time I used one if it wasn't a super thick card. And even then, a lot of times I just put it right into a card saver. Anything that's more than a 20-point card or a single card, I put it right into a card saver. It's just become natural to me, and I haven't had any issues with it because you can put 4, 5, 6 cards sometimes, depending on the thickness, in one card saver.
Yeah, so it kind of comes down to reducing how many supplies you carry, right? Just like the envelopes. So these, yeah, it's from 1 to 6 cards. This works, and then if it's 6 to 12 cards, then this works.
Right.
Versus the top loads don't really do anything for you. Actually, what I find myself using my top loads for more now is not for a single card. It's if I have a bigger order. Let's say I have like a 40 card order,
Sandwich,
which is, of course, yep, I make my sandwiches, and they go perfect in these bags, which I use for my inventory. So again, reducing my supply. So I actually don't even use my top loads for single cards anymore. Unless it's an expensive card, then maybe I would do it. The $20 card, I might top load it if I have some. Just because it's a little bit of a sturdy upgrade from a card saver, perception wise, and people would more likely want to keep it in a top load. But yeah, I really like the Elites. Again, simple. I go right on eBay. I have that listing saved. I click on it. I order my 2 cases. I get them in like 2 days. They come super fast, packed really nice in a nice box, and you get all your sleeves. I never have to order sleeves. They just come with that. I get my labels for free from UPS. So, I mean, I've cut my costs down about as far as I can. My one exception that I'm making, because the post office wants me to do it, is I'm spending about a half a cent more on these puppies. But like I said, I feel like I've found a way to sort of avoid that now too, by not having to go buy them and not, and that kind of thing. So I feel like I can at least make up a chunk of that half a cent. Funny, just got a message asking if card comes with a sleeve and a top loader. Well, there you go. And that's why I think it's good to have some of those on hand, because if you do have a customer that really wants it that way, you should try to ship it that way then.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose a sale because you don't have a top loader. And Johnny hits the nail on the head, and that's kind of why I brought up the pandemic thing. Top loaders were hard to find in the pandemic. I made more selling top loaders than cards. And that's true. They were really difficult to get, and if you could, you had to pay a premium for them. But that's the same with card savers. Those were hard to get too, and you had to pay a premium for them. Now, all my cards I kept in a card saver, and the reason I did that was because they were cards I wanted to send to grading. And this is how you're supposed to send a card to grading, is in a card saver. So to me, it didn't make sense to put any of my cards in top loads, which takes up more room, costs a little bit more. But so yeah, I'd always use those anyway. I like the BCW ones that have the little white bar on the top, because I could write like the card information on there, or I could write the label number if I was sending it to PSA for grading. They want you to put that little number on there when they go to grade the card. So I like those for that. So that's pretty much what I was buying, was the BCW one. Does everybody know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't touch the screen.
You're broken tonight. What's up with that?
I am. Scott says you get labels for free. Yes, I order my labels from UPS. So that was something that got brought up in the Discord a little while ago too. So I created an account with UPS. I did get a box of fanfold labels, 6,000 fanfold labels, which was awesome. But they limit you on how many supplies you can order for obvious reasons. And if you don't do enough shipping through your account with them, they limit which supplies you can get. So I need to get more, because I've started on my second rack. There's like 2 big racks in the box of the fanfolds. I'm started on my second rack, so I wanted to get them ordered since I go through them pretty quick. And I can only get the rolled ones this time, which I'm not super happy about, but I'm even thinking about fan folding them myself. So I was thinking about taking the roll and unrolling them, and then just taking every 2 and folding them back and forth, and then making my own stack. I think that's
like a lot of work.
I think it would go. I think getting started might be a thing, but then I think it would be pretty quick to just kind of, and then have them the way I want them. Because I don't have a roller, and I'm not buying one of those, and I don't really want to deal with them on a roll. So I don't know. We'll see.
I have one you can have.
No, I don't want that. I'm not interested in that. So that's how I could get them, and they're free. So I'm willing to take, a half hour and fan fold them myself if I have to. it's not 6,000 of them like you get in the Fanfold box. A Fanfold box is a sweet deal. I think it's 920 on a roll, if I'm correct. So yeah, so you have your 920, and I'm going to make a Fanfold out of them, and that'll be how I run when I get the rolls from them. Because the rolls aren't limited, you can order those anytime. It doesn't matter how much shipping you do. That's one of those supplies that's available. And then the higher end supplies, they look at how many shipping. And I hardly do any shipping with UPS, so I'm never going to be at a point where they're like, here, have another 6,000 box of labels. So I've just come to grips with that, the fact that I have to order the 920 rolls when I need them. But they're still free. So the other thing I could do is just rip the label off one at a time and just feed it into the machine when I'm printing the label.
Sure.
That's an alternative. But I actually think making the fan folds like in just one crack and then being done with it, I think that'd be the better way to do it. So we'll see. I've never had the roll before, so this is what I'm doing. You have to solve your problems. My problem is, do I pay for labels? No. Okay, then how do I work with the free ones that I'm allowed to get? So since I can get the rolled ones, I'm thinking I'm going to unroll them.
There you go.
I send cards about $4 and up in top loaders. Anything less goes in a card saver. Well, that's one way to do it too. But you only use them for UPS mailing, I'm sure. Yes, of course. I buy on eBay $30 for 6,000 labels. Hold on. I buy on eBay $30 for 6,000 labels. Still pretty cheap. Yep, that's not bad. Is that before shipping? I would assume they charge you a good chunk to ship those to you. Post a link in here. You got a link for that eBay seller, because I'd be interested in that. Just in case I wanted to buy a bigger chunk at a time. And are they fan fold or on those stupid rolls? And
you really don't like the rolls, do you?
Are they of any quality? Like the UPS ones are really nice quality too.
Yeah.
$30 shipped? That seems pretty cheap. Let's see. I'm looking this up. So I see $75 free shipping, $999 free shipping. Dang. 60,000 is $250. Here we go. 6,000 4x6 fan fold direct thermal labels, perforated, $34. Buy it now. Free shipping. So $34 I found one for. Buy one, get one 15% off. How's the quality on them? Are they any good? Looks like the rating. Oh, here we go. 6,000 4x6 fan fold direct thermal label perforated labels, $30.99. That's not bad for 6,000. I think I was paying I was getting them on Amazon. I think I was paying like 50 something, I want to say. So it's got not a very good feedback rating, 97.6. Don't know what that means. Here's another one, $30 even. Buy it now, 6,000. Here's one for $29.99. Here's one for $29 even, 100% feedback.
Yeah, I got my 6,000 on Amazon, I think, too. I'm trying to remember what I paid or find my order here.
Yeah, because cheapest iPhone on here is $29, 6,000 labels, 4x6 direct, peel and stick UPS labels, bulk shipping. And that's got 100% feedback. The ones you got are UPS. Oh, so that's somebody getting the free supplies from UPS and then reselling them? That must be what they're doing. That's why they're selling them so cheap, I bet.
Yeah, I paid $55 shipped.
Sounds about right.
6,000.
Yeah, you're right. They say UPS. So that's a seller that's just taking the free ones from UPS and reselling them. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they weren't able to do that. But yeah, it's not a bad deal. But I still like free. Free is still better than $30.
Free.
Free shipped, free brought to your door. So I'm going to keep taking the free as long as I can get the free. And what's interesting is those UPS ones on the roll do not have UPS on them. They're completely blank.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a win.
That's why I buy multiple cases of stuff. Yeah. UPS will always have them for free, so I'm going to keep going with that. I like free. Free is good for me. So I do have a backup case of labels because I bought some before I found out the UPS thing. So I do have some backups in case, for whatever reason, UPS is out for a week of them or something like that. I do have some I can use too that are already paid for.
Okay.
But, I mean, when did I get that box of labels? Do you remember? Was that like January?
Yeah, it's a couple months ago, right? Was it that far back? January?
Maybe not. Maybe it was February. I'd have to go back to my UPS order history. I don't remember what it was. I don't even know if it's in my order history since it's just supplies. But yeah, and I've gone through 3,000 of them. So 6,000 lasts you, and I do a ton of orders. 6,000 still lasts you quite a while. Because I'm just into my second pack. So I've used probably, let's say 3,200 of them or so in. I'm at. So I have 2,800 left.
You're burning through them.
Yep, they go pretty quick. Well, you guys must have broke the record for your longest show. Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, tonight it seems that way. Free for all, that's why.
We've gone past 11 a couple times, I think.
We have. You're correct. I think we're gonna get close to that tonight by the time we're done. Let's see. Sorry, I just jumped on. Can you explain how you get them free and from UPS, not USPS? If you have a UPS business account, you can order supplies from them. So I ordered labels. That's where I got them for free. So go check it out if that's what you want to do. But yeah, the eBay option is a decent alternative. You know, if they're reselling the free label, looks like.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You know, but can't be free. So as long as I can get them free and use them, I'm gonna take them. If they say nope, you're not using them for UPS, can't have them free anymore, then I've got a $29 eBay alternative that I'll jump to and get my 6,000 that way. And like I said, 6,000, like for you guys, 6,000 will probably really last a long time. The volume
like my 6,000 are a year's worth, basically.
Yeah, so 6,000 for me is it's got to be more than a year for you.
Well, I mean, this year is picked up from last year, but
remember that's per order. That's not per card. That's per order. You know that you're using it.
Yeah, that's true.
You'd have to go look at how many orders you had, but
I am just about done with the first stack I put on.
Yeah. Okay. But that was it. 6,000 you bought?
I bought 6,000. It came in 2 big boxes.
Yeah.
And the first box, I think it was 2 stacks in each box. Something like that.
Yeah, it can be 4 stacks.
Yeah. So I'm just about done with the first stack. And when did I buy that? Let me see. Those labels. I bought those on January 29th. I got 5 stacks to get to 6,000. Which is
we're halfway through the year, so you're going to use 2 stacks in a year. So you're going through about 3,000 in a year.
Yeah.
So 6,000 will last you 2 years.
Right.
And obviously, as you grow, you know it'll go faster and faster. I sold a racing card, David Pearson. I have no idea who that is. $2.99.
Keep the racing going.
Couple soccer cards. I sold a Diogo Costa goalie card, which doesn't surprise me.
Nice.
First goalie in Copa history to save 3 penalty kicks in a shootout.
Is that good?
Yeah. Well, let's see. The European Cup stuff has been going on for almost 150 years, and this is the first time it's ever happened. So yeah, it kind of matters.
Yeah.
So here's something interesting. Here's a hobby tip. Okay, giving away my secrets. You guys ready for this one? So there's normally in sports, your selling players are your offensive stars, right? So it's your quarterback, your wide receiver, running backs for football. In baseball, it's your home run hitters, right? Guys who score a lot of runs. In soccer, your players are the two opposite ends of the spectrum. It's your goal scorers and your goal savers. So don't forget about the goalies. They're technically called keepers, but don't forget about the goalies. It doesn't have to be, Messi and Ronaldo and all the goal scorers. They're still bigger money than the goalies, of course, but the keepers sell really well. I saw a lot of Casper Schmeichel and Bauer from Bayern Munich, or Neuer is his name, from Bayern Munich, and there's a lot of big Ederson for Man City. There's a bunch of really nice goalies out there that have a lot of skill and they sell really well. So, little side play. If you find any nice cards in that, if you found like an Ederson base card, probably not a great buy. But if you found like a nice Ederson parallel number to 50 or something, somebody might be selling that pretty cheap because it's just a soccer goalie. You probably get a pretty good sale out of it. I would buy that out of $1 or $2 box for sure. So, and yeah, just to clarify that answer on N21, it's UPS, not USPS. USPS doesn't do anything for free. Oh. All right. I don't know. What do you think? Do we
what else we got?
Blow this one out? We got a holiday tomorrow, so we should let everybody get to sleep so they can drive all day tomorrow and then blow their hands up tomorrow night. That's the goal, right? That's the holiday. Drink your beer and blow up your hands. Something like that. Maybe not in that order. Well, I guess you need your hands to drink your beer, though, right? So have the beer first.
Yeah. I don't know that we have any definitive plans for tomorrow, which is always nice when I can sleep in the morning and not have to get up and run someplace.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I have stuff to do tomorrow. I have a bunch of stuff in my yard always to do. So we're going to try to do some of that. Obviously, Bree's not working, so we're going to get some of that done tomorrow. And then, like I said, try to reorganize my office. I have a couple of kids coming over this weekend, Friday night, and then a couple Saturday nights. So I have stuff in my arcade right now because I had to move stuff into another room to set up my office. Now that my office is there and built, now I can move that stuff back and get stuff put away. So we're going to do a lot of that and just get it back to a living space and all those rooms so they can all be used. I have the machines are turned off. I have to turn some of them back on because we were doing wiring. So I had to shut the power off. So some of them are on smart controls. So I just have to tell them what to do. Turn on arcade, turn on Raspberry Pi. Like I have to go give some commands and things will pop back up. But I never bother turning them on when there's stuff in the room, right? Can't play them anyway.
Right.
So, and then my slot machine, I have one of those like Japanese Marvel slot machines, where it's got the LED panel with the videos and stuff on it.
Yeah.
And that thing just doesn't do anything until you unplug it, plug it back in, turn it. Yeah. I got to flip all the switches to get that going. As soon as power is cut, it doesn't do anything when you just like turning it on. So I have to open the door and flip all the switches, and that thing's a lot of maintenance.
Wow.
And once it's on, it's fine, but it doesn't go on its own. I think it's kind of a protection thing, so that if somebody it's a real slot machine and somebody cuts the power, they can't just manipulate the machine. I'm guessing. I don't know. Because it is a coin machine, so I'm thinking they were used in real places at one point.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll do that, and get everything fluffed up a bit down there, clean up the kitchen a little bit, and put the table back together, get all my non-sport packs out of there, and get those sorted into the cabinet and be done. So, are you going up north, doing anything up there?
This weekend we'll be up north again too. Finally getting closer to doing like the main part of the work inside. So I've been scratching here a little bit. I got sunburn all over the back of my neck and shoulders because I was up on a roof all day Saturday and Sunday. Actually, we were up on a roof till 1:30 in the morning Saturday night with work lights up there. And I think we've pretty much got all the roof issues fixed. We've taken care of the leaks. We've just got some side caps to put on, flashing, and then that's done. And then I can start putting insulation back in and put some wall surfaces on. And I've got the wiring all upgraded and done. I just got to connect a new circuit to the panel. So it's coming together. We're getting to the stuff where Jenny and the boys can kind of just piece some things along inside too. Up to now, it's been pretty much just me, and my cousin helps quite a bit, who lives next door. So it's moving into that territory where I will be probably stepping out a little bit, and football starts in 2 weeks. Our first football camp is in 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, we're just winding down soccer, so that's kind of nice. We have a tournament next weekend. Luna has some summer school sessions. She's in a musical. She got a lead part in a musical, so we're excited about that. And
awesome.
Yeah, it's got a couple weeks of practice left of that, and then we'll have that performance, and then start getting ready for the new school year. So it just keeps going. And she's got a brand new school pretty much to go to this year. Okay. So big project, over big $40 million project or something over there, I guess.
Summer is flying by, man.
Yeah. Well, and it's been tough because it rains every day, so I feel like I haven't like I can't just go sit out on my deck, and that's that's one of the great parts about working for yourself, right? You can I can go work outside, and it's like it's freaking raining, and then it's not raining, but it's wet out, okay, great, it's not raining now. It's 96 and humid. I don't want to go sit out there. So it's like we just haven't cut the right break for
Friday night. I'll probably repeat last Friday night. I'll live the camper life, going through the last row of my monster box in the camper, and see if we can finish that up. I really thought I was going to do it last week, but then Saturday night I had planned to do the last row, and my cousin wanted to just power through on the roof. So like I said, we were out there till 1:30 in the morning, and I crashed hard once I got in the camper and laid down.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's like hard. That's like actual hard work, not what we do.
Yeah, and I'm not a young guy anymore doing all that stuff, and I realized that this past weekend that I can't do some of the things I used to do. Mm-hmm. It takes quite a bit of toll. I'm still, every time I get up here on Wednesday the knees are a little slower to get back to normal, and the feet hurt for a couple days. And so, getting older, hit that big 5-0, you start to feel things a little different.
I'm not there yet, but it's coming quick. So, and that's okay. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Jenny was nice though. She's like, well, you don't do it every day like, your cousin does. So it hits you a little harder. She was so sweet to try and, make me feel
she's not wrong. She's not wrong either. There are certain things where if you don't do them, they don't work quite as well.
Yeah. So. I mean, my career has been a desk job. And then I start selling cards, and I'm at a desk again all night. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't really prepare you well for physical labor.
that is accurate. Yeah. I think back to my years when I was peak physical performance playing soccer, and it's like I'd do training from 6 till 8 in the morning. I'd run 4 or 5 miles, and then I'd take the train downtown, and then we'd go walking around the streets for a while and getting into trouble and having drinks and doing that. And then we'd come back and we'd have practice in the afternoon. And I'm like, dude, I don't even think I could do 10 minutes of that.
No,
no. It's amazing how much that can change, and to some degree it's age, it's size, it's, it's all those things. But Another big part of it is just your body just adjusts to what you're doing.
It does, yeah.
You're not doing that thing. It's like, we don't do that anymore, Adam. You know?
I was in pretty decent shape with it until I hit 40. I was still playing amateur baseball through my 40th year. Mm-hmm. And that's when I started to notice, the injuries are coming up more frequently, the pulled muscles and things like that, and they're taking longer to heal. So that's when I called it quits on that. And then the physicality of things since then has really declined. Football is actually great for me because I actually get out on the field, I'm demoing things, I'm working with the kids, and I get a little more active. So I always feel a little better after the season, but then the winter comes and I'm sitting at a desk, and that's 16 hours a day, you know.
Where we live doesn't really help a whole lot either. It's a lot of just downtime, can't really do some stuff kind of thing. But I think you're right. That's what hit me at 40 was I don't feel like I was getting more injuries because I was still playing soccer a bit, very casually, you know, rec teams, but it just took me so much longer to recover. Like I'd have a game on a Saturday morning. It was like, it took me till Sunday night and before I was not wrecked anymore.
Right.
You know, versus like I said, I could play a game in the morning and then, you know, go out and do stupid parkour things in the afternoon. Like that's totally not a thing now.
It is in our house. I say that all the time.
In
I
college,
get the dog getting the zoomies and he's jumping off the couches and I'm like, parkour.
Right, parkour. I used to rollerblade from my house in DePiro to UWGB.
Yeah.
And then we'd go out there and party for the night, and then I'd rollerblade home. I'm like, I would die now. Like I don't think I can make it. You know.
Yeah, the body adjusts whatever you're actually doing, right?
Yeah, for sure. And then you get to these points too where it's like, well, am I actually damaging my body by exercising it? Like, there's a fine line in there too, where if you're just causing injuries, is that getting you ahead? Probably not.
Oh, geez. Well, our audience is probably like, this is a fascinating conversation.
Bunch of old guys, old guy problems. So I have a feeling some of our audience experiences the same thing.
They can relate, yeah.
So, all right, I think at that note we'll call it. I hope everybody has a happy 4th of July. Remember to join us every Wednesday at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. Ring the bell if you want to be notified of any future videos. Head on over to Charlie's channel, JC3 Cards and Collectibles.
Got it.
Give him a thumbs up. Watch some awesome data videos. He's got the liquidity list. It's a great little video series that he's putting out there. Lots of great content for resellers in there. And I'm going to try to get another video yet this week. We'll see what happens with the holiday and everything. But if I don't, like I said, everybody have a happy 4th. We'll see you next week. The Discord is down below. There's a link to the Discord. Make sure you jump on there. Join the Discord. If the link doesn't work for whatever reason, go to Discord, look up the Dollar Box server, and join us there. We have a lot of great conversation on there, just like this chat. So hope to see you there. Absolutely. Any parting words for you, Charlie?
Just the usual. Peace out. Take care of each other.
Excellent. And remember, you can't sell what you don't list. See you next time. Maybe.